It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne.
And Michelle.
And we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. And you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise your horns.
Lost in the dark.
Welcome back, Crypt Crew! Thank you so much for joining us on this one. Massive episode. Everyone, Crypt Crew, welcome back to the Crypt. Keith Wampler from the Legend Recording Agency, and of course the lead vocalist of The Convalescence. Absolutely one of my favorite bands going right now. We definitely tried to keep this one shorter, but it ended up crazy long. It's just what happens when you get me and Keith together, apparently. But it's always a fun time. This episode is filled with amazing shit. So I'm going to get through these quick shout-outs, and then we'll dive right in. First up, our brothers over there in Wisconsin at the Dipping Milk and Cookies podcast. Join hosts Garrett, the Cookie Commander Smith, and Mike, the Master Milker Sarkovia, as those two best friends try to figure out this thing we call life using friends, guests, and microphones. Absolutely one of my favorite podcasts going. I cannot recommend it enough. Everybody be sure to check out all things Dipping Milk in Cookies podcast. Next up, our Michigan family. Michigan family right here. Coming to you from the glacial dumping ground known as the Michigan Basin, Wayne and Michelle are a Michigan-based husband and wife, educator, and podcasting duo that examine UFOs and other paranormal topics within Michigan and beyond. Topics include UFOs, the paranormal, conspiracy theories, ghosts, alternative history, the Michigan Dogman, Bigfoot, cryptids, and all things paranormal. You heard them on the top of this episode giving us a read like that. I love them to death. Brand new episode coming out with them very soon, or maybe already out. I don't even know. But they're amazing and absolutely one of my favorite paranormal podcasts going right now, hands down. So everybody be sure to check out all things Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast. Last but never least, normally here I shout out all the bands, but this month I'm shouting out a show. That show takes place on a Halloween night. For me, as a fan, it's the first time I've ever been to a metal show on Halloween night, so it means the world to me. This show takes place at the Diesel Concert Lounge in Chesterfield, New Baltimore, Michigan. Chesterfield Township, New Baltimore, Michigan. On Halloween night, it features Hate Unbound, Pestilent Age, our brothers Recorrupta, motherfucking Reflection of Flesh, fucking Lost in the Dark Crypt Crew Family War. A band, the first time I saw them, I was like, this stage is way too small for you. The Breathing Process. These guys fucking destroy a new album out right now called Labyrinth. Check it out. All of that in support for a band that means so much to me, I can't even explain. The Convalescence! Of course, Keith is on this episode right now. All of those bands are in support of Michigan's own motherfucking The Return of Battlecross. Come the fuck on. That's fucking insane. Battlecross is one of my favorite bands of all time. I used to see them all the time growing up. So for Keith to have brought them back on this show just means can never describe what it means to me as a personal fan of all of these bands. All of it just means so much to me. And most anticipated show of the year, I Might Die. I can't fucking wait. So October 31st, Diesel Concert Lounge. We got fucking Hate Unbound, Pestilent Age, Recorruptor, Reflection of Flesh, War, WOR, The Breathing Process, Convalescence, and Battlecross. So all of Recorruptor will be there. Most of Bogwraith will be there. And all of Lost in the Dark will be there. So the people, it's just going to be the most magical Halloween I've ever had. I already know it. I can't fucking wait. Everybody be sure to check it out. But without further ado, I'm keeping this short. Let's fucking dive into this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Crypt Crew, family, brothers and sisters, welcome back, Keith Wampler of the Legend Recording Agency and lead vocalist of The Convalescence, to the Crypt. My brother, thank you so much for being back. Everybody, love you all so much. Enjoy. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Lost in the Dark podcast. We are back, joined again. Keith from The Convalescence has graced us with his presence. Thank you so much for being back, buddy. Absolutely, always a pleasure to talk to you. First off, I want to start off with some plugs. I decided to start moving these to the start of the show because that's usually what most people listen to. So I figured let's plug everything at the beginning. Right now, coming up, The Convalescence has a 3-date run with Reflection of Flesh, War, The Breathing Process, and fucking Battlecross on October 29th at Fort Wayne, Indiana at the Rockstar Lounge. October 30th, Toledo, Ohio at the Main Street Bar and Grill, all culminating in Chesterfield, Michigan on Halloween night at the Diesel Concert Lounge. We've been promoting the shit out of that show, so I'm beyond excited for it, man. Is there anything else off the rip right away that you want to plug real quick?
I mean, right away, that's the main one we have coming up. Other than that, I'll be on a YouTube channel that goes and visits restaurants and has people try different food at different restaurants called Taste of in Monroe, Michigan on November 10th. There's an event page up with that, and anybody can attend.
I was actually going to ask you about that. Yeah. I plan on being there. I plan on being there for that. So
yeah, it should be cool. I don't know a ton about it, but I agreed to do it. It seemed cool. I watched their other episodes.
Hell yeah.
And then in February we'll be going back to Europe with Carnifex and Chelsea Grin, Body Snatcher, and Burials.
Great lineup. Such a great lineup. And how long is the European tour?
It's about a month.
About a month. God damn. So that's a full
doing most of Europe and the UK
with Carnifex. And of course they came out with a new album right at the beginning of pandemic, and then right at the end of it they came out with another one. So they're kind of touring 2 albums right now.
Right.
That's gonna be so much fun, man. I'm so happy for you guys that you're gonna be able to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're stoked, man. We love going to Europe.
Do you have a favorite, like outside of the United States? Do you have like a favorite country that you've played in so far?
That's tough. We get treated really good when we leave the country normally.
Hell yeah.
Canada's always been really cool to us. And we've had some really good shows up there and really good like hospitality and reactions up there. But going over to Europe is just crazy. Like some of the shows are just like way more packed than you would expect. And we've only really done like support tours over there. We went over there in 2016 with Suffocation and Cattle Decap.
Oh.
And we went over there in 2019 with 6 Feet Under. And now we're going over there with Carnifex and Chelsea Grin. So we haven't done like a headline tour by ourselves necessarily like we have in Canada. But Germany's always pretty sick. Czech Republic was insane on the 6 Feet Under tour. Sold out like months in advance and was just nuts in there. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good places over there. When we did the Suffocation tour, I think the best show was in France.
That's fantastic. That's fucking awesome. That's one thing though that I've always wanted to experience. I haven't experienced that many shows outside of Michigan, honestly. And so I've always wanted to, I always like hearing what crowds are like, not only in different states, but in different countries. And one of the things I've noticed just from watching, a whole lot of live videos and stuff like that, Vakken, pro shot stuff of bands in other countries, is that in Europe, it seems to be a big thing where they do the whole, like, you're a giant Iron Maiden fan, just like I am. The Rock in Rio version of Fear of the Dark. Mm-hmm. Where the whole crowd is like singing along with the guitar part, that whole thing. Like, do they do that a lot? Have you experienced any of that? They never do that here.
Yeah, we're not like known to that point over there where they like know all our guitar riffs, probably.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
And they would also be singing pretty fast.
Yeah.
So like death metal, like, I feel like. So,
That's true. That's true.
so not so much on at least the experiences that I've been on. There is a lot of singing along from people. There's a lot of crowd interaction, a lot of
Nice.
places, and it seems like pretty much the crowd that's gonna be there shows up like near doors.
Oh,
Like,
oh, well, that's
so like
that's very
if it's a show and it's like gonna be 1,000 people, there's gonna be 800 people there at doors,
wow. That's awesome.
and they'll stay and they'll watch every single band.
That's awesome.
So it's nice to do a support tour over there where you know that if you're first of 5 or second of 5,
Right.
you're gonna have a crowd still.
And
Whereas in the US, if you're first of 5, second of 5, everybody's rolling in for like this band or this band, and
yep.
time slots got leaked, and boom, you played in front of 100 people. 2 bands later, there's 1,000 there.
Yep. Yep.
That kind of thing. It doesn't, from what I've seen, doesn't happen that much over there.
That's interesting. I've never heard anybody talk about like that. I've never, yeah, that's really interesting actually. Because that is a thing here. Like, and it's always kind of bugged me because I always like to get there as early as if I'm going to a show, I want to be there as long as I can. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, there's always the and even if the first band, like a couple years ago when I went to the 25th anniversary Hatebreed tour, the first band on that night, I believe, was Fit for an Autopsy. They're huge.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah,
and there's barely
our tour with Sea of Treachery and Insurgents actually crossed paths with that tour at the same venue, but it was like 2 different rooms in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't know that show was there. They booked us, and then they booked them, and it was 2 separate shows. It's like separate admissions, separate, like if you're at one show, you don't get to go see the other show, kind of thing. And I was like, calling the venue, like, man, this show's gonna kill us.
That doesn't even make sense. Like, what?
It was us, Sea of Treachery, and Insurgents in one room,
which is a great lineup.
It was Hatebreed, Obituary, Terror, Cro-Mags, and Fit for an Autopsy in the other room.
Yep, that's the show I saw. Yep.
And so we ended up getting the venue to agree that we would offset time slots so that our show didn't play during their shows during the changeovers.
Oh.
And we organized the shows a little bit between the 2 shows. And if you had a ticket to the Hatebreed show, you could come into our show for free. Or you could pay to get into just our show.
Okay.
Like if you weren't like going for that. So like what it ended up like towards the end of the night, like there was openers on our show too, and like so it would be like an opener on our show, then Fit for an Autopsy, then an opener on our show, and then I think it was like Terror, and then Insurgents, and then Cro-Mags, and then Sea of Treachery, Obituary, and then we played in Hatebreed.
So you literally you turned what could have been into a clusterfuck into an advantage. That we
just tried to make sure it wasn't going to be a dead show on our end.
Right? No, exactly. But you offering that, that's there's 2 parts of that. That's A, like you're not how do I put it? You're not playing at the same time as anybody else, so people have the option. A, and B, everybody that's gonna show up for fucking Hatebreed in between bands, now all of a sudden they have a ticket to come see a band over there that some of them maybe not have heard of. You have an opportunity to be in front of a new audience there, potentially somewhat, and that's an advantage. You flip that around. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. Well done.
Thanks. We try.
Well done. Yeah, and then also so you guys got these these 3 dates coming up next weekend. We got the European tour starting in February. Yep. And then, of course, during pandemic, you also released the Human Disease 2.0 version, which you played live a couple times.
I forgot we did not. We haven't talked since then.
No, yeah. Last time we talked was right before that came out.
Yeah. we did that for the 10-year anniversary. We wanted to just do something. We couldn't play any shows at the time because it was still like everything was still pretty shut down, or like 25% capacity, and like we didn't really feel like it was like safe at the time to be out and doing shows or any of that kind of stuff at that point in time. And we were just like, man, what can we do? What's something, you know, that we can work with? And, you know, Katie's a nurse, so she was working all the time, and like the COVID unit and all that kind of stuff. So she wasn't really able to leave work to come like do a show or do a live feed kind of thing or anything like that. So we're like, well, we don't want to do it like a new song because we had a whole new album written,
right?
And like pre-production out, but we didn't want to take a song that was meant to be part of the album,
right,
and just release it to release it. And we didn't want to just keep making videos for Monument of Misery. We have a video for almost every song on the album.
Got a lot of videos for that one, yeah. They're all great, but yeah.
You know, enough people had heard the record to where we're like, we don't want to rehash another like video for this and keep spending money on this one record. You know, to that point to release another video and all that. So I was like, well, you know, let's dig back into some stuff. You know, people have been asking us to play The Human Disease for years. And some of the new lineup, you know, didn't even know the song. We haven't been playing it for so long that they've never had to know it to play it live.
Okay.
So we're like, well, why don't we re-record it and, you know, kind of touch it up a little bit and that kind of stuff. And we actually had to go in and redo pre-production for that whole song because it was so old. We didn't have any like click tracks for it. We didn't have a lot of the original stuff for it and that kind of stuff. And we were going to do live drums on this version, whereas the original was programmed drums. And we're like, man, let's just totally redo this whole song. So that's why like some of the leads are faster and a little like flashier. Some of the heavy parts are heavier. The drums through the whole thing are heavier.
Yeah.
Charles did wonders with that versus
so good.
what we were doing at the end of 2013, beginning of 2014 kind of thing. But we did go back to the exact same producer that we worked with on the Process album, and re-recorded the new version with him.
And that's somebody that you haven't, correct me if I'm wrong, is that somebody you haven't worked with since then?
No, he recorded, mixed and mastered the Process. He recorded Poison Words.
Okay.
And he recorded the Coming Undone cover.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And he recorded This Is Hell.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, you've been working with him for a while.
We worked with John Burke like a lot.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, probably 10 or so years ago, Forever in Terror. They were on Metal Blade.
No, I don't think I remember that.
Metalcore kind of band.
Okay.
But he was the guitarist for Forever in Terror.
Oh, nice.
And we got hooked up with him many years ago. So
nice.
We're going to him a lot because he's based in Ohio.
Oh, perfect.
So it was like a 2-hour drive to go record with him.
Nice.
And when we first started doing these records, we didn't have like a budget to like go somewhere and have a place to stay the whole time. And, like, pay some big producer like real money. It was kind of like, hey bro, how much to do our record? You know, and then we'd track it with him and he'd produce it and stuff. And then the Process, we just had him do the whole thing and mix and master it and everything. But after that, when we were touring on the Process, we toured with CRYPT. Nice. And we met Chris Donaldson, and
that's right.
He showed us some of the stuff he was mixing at the time, and that he had done, you know, some of the CRYPT stuff and whatever. And we're like, man, this sounds great. And he's like, yeah, come to my studio. But at the time, we couldn't go to Canada.
Right, it was in Canada.
Like passport issues and stuff. So the first time we ever went into Canada wasn't until 2018.
Right.
And we went to Europe before we went to Canada.
Damn. And that's for like playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know
our most of our first time in Europe going there was when we toured there.
Right.
And most of the first time in Canada was when we went to tour there. So it was like
right.
Most of us literally went to Europe before we went to Canada, and we lived like
That's
4
crazy.
hours.
Literally.
So
Literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Not even 4 hours from the bridge in Detroit. I mean,
right, like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
we were in Canada.
Yeah, literally.
So, and we went to Europe first.
That's wild.
So it's like 2 years before. But it was just different stipulations on what could keep you out of the country, kind of thing.
Right. And this was all way pre-pandemic. So this is when things were even easier.
This was like
than they are now.
2016.
Yeah.
So, we did all that, and we wanted to go to Chris, but he was a little more expensive than John was, and we would have to go to another country to record it.
Right.
And we just didn't have like the means to do that really.
Right.
So what we were doing for Poison Words, Coming Undone, and This Is Hell was we recorded it with Johnny and then sent it to Chris, and he would mix and master.
Oh, okay.
So,
nice.
And then finally for Monument of Misery, we're going to Canada.
Yeah.
And we went to Canada and recorded the whole thing, and he mixed and mastered it as well.
Yeah.
Up there. And then really with this new one, we had planned to go to Chris again in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We had discussed even possible dates and everything about when we were going to come up and record it. And then COVID happened.
Yep.
And they shut the borders to Canada and everything. And we're like, man, we literally can't go there to record.
Yeah.
Like, what are we going to do? We got this record written. We want to get this recorded, and John does great work, but we wanted to like really go to like, it's like make or break. We've been around for 10 years, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's like everything you guys put out always feels like a progression. And so like, I totally understand wanting to go to record where This Is Hell was recorded, and Monument, especially Monument of Misery, like to get to recapture that like production value. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, we were really happy with the way Monument sounded going up there.
Good.
We had a great experience. Chris is a real good friend of ours. His whole family, everybody, like we stayed at his mom's house.
Oh my God.
Dinner and stuff. It was crazy.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
We stayed at his house with his wife and like kids and stuff. We all just hung out and made the record kind of thing.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome.
And then, obviously we did a lot of stuff up at the Grid as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great experience, man. And we loved it. That was really what we were planning to do again.
Yeah.
And then when all that happened, we didn't want to wait until whenever this is over.
Because who knows?
To like start doing this.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, like, let's see if we can get in with like a big producer. Like, and the first person I wanted to talk to about it was Jason Sukoff. He's done a bunch of the Trivium records, like Ascendancy and the Crusade and all that stuff. He did the Battlecross stuff. He did Chimera, Whitechapel, Motionless in White.
What's his name again?
Huh?
What's his name again?
Jason Sukoff.
Sukoff. All right. Because I was gonna say there's a guy up here in Michigan, in Midland, Michigan. I think his name is, can't remember his first name. I feel like it starts with a J, but I know his last name is Schroeder. And I know he's done a lot of the the Battlecross stuff as well. And he did the two most recent Lorna Shore things.
Nice.
Well. So, but yeah, I think that's somebody else. Sorry.
Jason did like a lot of the early like Black Dahlia stuff. Like he did like Nocturnal and definitely.
Oh God.
He worked with A Job for a Cowboy. He's worked with Necrogoblicon.
Oh.
And just
man,
like
that's great.
I'm looking through his discography, and I had seen him like documentaries and stuff for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'll hit him up. Maybe we'll get in with him. And man, he hit me right back like within a couple days, and asked if we had recorded our last record with Chris and their friends. So he called Chris to see, like should I work with these guys or whatever?
Oh, that's awesome.
And they talked, and then I got on a video call with Jason, and we talked all the details over, and we worked out everything and made it work. And in June, we flew down to Florida to start tracking at Audio Hammer, and just killer studio. Jason's awesome. It's taken a lot longer than we anticipated it, but it's worth it so far. Just it blows away anything we've done before. So we couldn't be any happier with it, really. It's gonna start being mixed here in a couple weeks.
Beautiful.
Tracking is done,
Yes.
so waiting for it to be mixed, and then we're gonna send it to Chris Donaldson to master it.
Nice.
And we already have all the artwork and photos and all that stuff done.
Oh, who can I ask who did the artwork?
It's of course Cookie Greenway.
Wonderful. God, and
Yeah.
oh God, he's so good.
Yeah, this album kind of artwork and lyrically kind of ties This Is Hell and Monument of Misery and this one together.
Oh, nice. Dude.
So it's cool. I'm excited. The artwork's killer. We did all the photos and stuff at the end of August. We went up to Massachusetts and worked with Jeremy Sapper.
Nice.
And he does Megadeth and Lamb of God, Ghost, and everybody. So Avatar and all that. So it was really, really cool to work with the dude that made all the posters that were on my walls when I was a kid.
Right? Yeah, that's amazing. Shit.
So, and he's still working on editing those. We got a lot of really good stuff. But we did post the one that he sent us that, I was just really stoked on of the full band. So yeah, it was really cool. And we're just kind of going all out on this one and working with, who's the best person that we're all fans of. Let's go to them.
Right.
And just kind of doing it at our own pace. That's why this one has taken longer. Is we're just not cutting any corners. We're not putting anything out until everything is ready, kind of thing. And
full everything is just on full fucking I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So we want to do a really big release, and we want to do some really over the top stuff with it.
Yes.
So we're working on that. We're also working on a new DVD for the 10-year anniversary. Also has been a huge project. I know we talked about that last time I was on.
Yeah.
10 years is a lot of shit.
Yeah. It's a big one.
So it's really, it's narrowing down this timeline, because we could sit there and tell tour stories. This could be 5 days long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some tours that have like 40 things that were brought up between the band members that they remember, that they're like, we should talk about this. We should talk about this. And so, we can't include absolutely everything, because no one's going to sit there for like 4 days and watch this. Maybe you do.
I was going to say, A, that's what bonus features and deleted scenes are for. And B, hardcore fans like me definitely will. I definitely sat there and watched all 4 hours of the 10-year or the 20 whatever year Cannibal Corpse DVD.
Oh yeah, Centuries of Torment.
Yes.
Even like recently, I've probably watched it like 10 times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've watched all of it.
So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, but I don't expect like the average person that wants to check it out to get through all that.
Yep.
So we're trying to cut it down into maybe like 2 or 3 hours total, and then we filmed a full live concert at Toledo Death Fest.
Yes.
Back in August, we had Austin Scherzberg come down. He did the video for The Pit and the video for One of the Dead.
Oh, awesome. Oh, and he came down and filmed the live set?
He came down and filmed the live set.
Oh, awesome.
And it's from a bunch of different camera angles, and it was great. We had close to 1,000 people in there, and it was couldn't ask for a better turnout, really. We got hit kind of last minute for Death Fest. It's a big patio that holds like 1,000 people and a big stage outside.
Okay.
And that was meant to be the main stage. And then there's a smaller room inside with a smaller stage. And it's like 450, 500 capacity.
Okay.
Which was supposed to be the side stage.
Mm-hmm.
Less than a week before Death Fest, the bar got hit up by the city, and they were told, you guys got to obey this noise ordinance, which had never been a problem for the 5 years that they've been throwing outdoor shows at night there or anything. But they're like, unless you have a variance to have noise, you got to cut off outside noise at 9 p.m.
What?
And I mean, like, Jungle Rot wasn't even going to go on until 11.
Yeah.
So it was like Filth, us, and Jungle Rot were all going on after curfew. Well, then when we went to apply for a variance, it takes 30 days to approve. So we're like, shit, what are we going to do? So it's like, oh, we'll just switch the stages and hope for the best here. That was really all we could do. And we end the side stage at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we revamped the time slots and everything. And it ended up being like, we had a little bit under 750 people paid altogether. We had a bunch of press people. There was like almost 150 people in bands and crew.
Oh wow! Holy shit!
Because there's 14 bands.
Oh my god! Yeah, yeah.
And,
it's all fast. Yeah.
You know, so we had. We had bands from all over. Narcotics came out from Illinois.
Nice.
Reflection of Flesh came down from Wisconsin.
Yep.
Habitual Gloom played their last show at that one. Wow. And became Broodmonger.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Cerebral Cortex played. Waiting on Zach played.
Was War there?
War was not there.
No. Okay.
Vocills came down and played.
Oh, nice.
Which was an interesting set. It was fun. And then we had Mobile Death Camp was on it. The Breathing Process was on it.
Oh, always great.
Blood of Angels was on it. Filth was on it. We were on it. Jungle Rot was the main headliner, and us and Jungle Rot played back-to-back hour sets at the end of the night.
Yeah, co-headlining. Yeah.
So after the side stage ended, which Mobile Death Camp headlined the outdoor stage.
Okay.
Everything moved inside, and it was Filth, the Convalescence, and Jungle Rot back to back in this like 450 cap room with all these people there.
Oof.
There was people actually standing on the bar because there wasn't room to stand on the floor. And we got some incredible footage. We sprayed blood into the crowd with super soakers and that whole deal, and did a wall of death in there. Mm-hmm. We had a circle pit that was pretty much the whole room.
Nice.
And it was a blast. I couldn't have asked for a better show.
That's phenomenal.
And I'm glad that we got it on film at that quality.
Fuck yeah. How that I mean, you kind of already did give us the next album update, but I was going to ask how not just like as a performer and as a fan, because I've ran into you at a few shows here recently. As a performer and as a fan, how has it been for you going back to shows, getting to play shows again, and being able to be in a giant crowd just watching a band you love?
It's very mixed feelings, honestly, because I mean, COVID's not a joke, and it's not gone.
Nope.
And you know,
real.
Our whole band is vaccinated and the whole deal or whatever, because we felt like that would be the best we could do.
Yeah,
on the road.
Yep.
We haven't had like a bunch of people up partying on the bus like we normally do. Mm-hmm. We haven't, you don't see as many band members out around during the shows as you normally would. A lot of people are kind of chilling in the green room and stuff like that. And we're just trying to like play it as safe as we can, but playing it totally safe like you're supposed to just really isn't super possible on the level we are with what we do.
Yeah.
You're going to be around a lot of people, you know, and,
Yeah. There's just no
you
way
know, and
around it.
we're kind of at the mercy of like what that state's doing or what that venue's doing or
Of course.
whatever. You know, some of the venues we played were like everybody that's in here has to have a mask on the whole time.
Really?
And like when we played Rochester, New York, the state of New York, that was their mandate there.
Okay.
And so we played Rochester and everybody had masks on. Not the band,
Of
but
course. With the crowd.
you know,
Was that weird?
if the band was in the crowd, we had to have a mask on.
Oh, okay.
If we went to like the merch table, we had to wear a mask.
So if you're not on stage, you have to have a mask on.
Yeah. When we were on stage, obviously you can't wear them with the corpse paint and trying to sing and all that.
Yeah, that doesn't.
But I mean, like that was really one of the only shows. There's been shows that were like somewhat limited capacity, not like all the way, but like 75% or stuff like that. So I mean, it just depends on where you go.
Yeah.
And the attitude where you are of like the general people that are there is different from place to place too. I mean,
Okay.
some places a lot of people willingly come in and wear masks and they don't mosh a lot and they're kind of spread out throughout the venue. And they're jamming, they just don't really want to be brushing up against a bunch of people,
Right.
which is understandable, but they want to see the show.
Yeah.
There's other shows where not one person in the entire place is wearing a mask.
It's like it never happened.
Raging, and it's like, yeah, it's like it never happened.
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is. And as you know, we had to cancel the second half of the tour due to COVID-related issues.
Mm-hmm.
When we got back, it was after the August tour.
Yeah. The first leg of the 10-year anniversary tour, right? First leg?
Yeah, after we got back from the first leg and we did the photo shoot and everything, a few days later, Charles started feeling sick a few days after we got home, and ended up a few days after that, he tested positive for COVID.
Okay.
And he said, hey, everybody in the band get tested. I just tested positive. I tested positive as well, but the rest of the band was negative. So I did the quarantine period, just kind of took it easy, stayed home, the whole thing. And I mean, I know he was doing the same thing, doing everything he could do to get better and stuff. I was only really sick for a couple days.
Okay.
And I wasn't like sick. Like I lost my sense of taste and smell.
Did you?
And I didn't feel great. It was just kind of really sluggish, and like I'd get worn out like walking from the couch to the bathroom.
Okay. So like kind of just like a fatigue, shitty cold.
It was very, very fatigued, and like, yeah, I couldn't smell or taste anything.
That's wild.
And that lasted for maybe 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And then, you know, I got past the quarantine and got all cleared to go and everything. But it was a couple days before we were supposed to leave for Orlando with Judas Priest and in Florida, and then incarceration with Rob Zombie in Ohio.
Right.
And Charles tested positive again, and he's like, I can't go. And it was like panic. Like, you don't want to cancel those shows.
No, of course.
And there was a lot of money that had already been spent and involved in everything with doing those shows, because that weekend was kind of insane. It was, we had to fly to Orlando, play our set on, we ended up borrowing gear from Goonlord in Florida.
Okay.
They're friends of ours.
Nice.
They loaned us all their gear, their drum set, their amps, their cymbals, everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
We brought like guitars and our keyboard.
Okay. Okay.
We had to fly down there. We had to load in at like 8:30 in the morning, and we played at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
All right.
and we had to be back in the rental car and driving to the airport by 4:30 or by 4:45. So
Holy shit.
we played from like 3 to 3:30.
And you have less than an hour.
Yeah, and then we ran back to catering, ate whatever we could,
Right.
wiped as much of the paint as we could off of ourselves.
And
Like
blood.
changed out of at least some of your stage clothes.
Right.
And then I had to run and go like pick up our merch from the merch area, and then we had to get it back to the rental car and get the fuck out of there to get to the airport, return the rental car.
Right.
And we flew back. I think our flight was like 8 p.m. or something like that the same day. And we flew back, got picked up by our tour bus in Cleveland and driven to Mansfield for an 8 a.m. load in the next day. And then we played at like 1:30 in the afternoon that day. And so it was like 2 shows, 1,100 miles apart on 9/11 during a pandemic with a fill-in drummer in 18 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say in less than.
And it was just like, yeah, and it was just like, there's no way this is gonna work. And like, there's no way this is gonna work. And we couldn't think of like a fill-in drummer. Like,
right.
We were thinking of like ex-drummers, and then we realized that Charles has been in the band so long that most of the stuff we play now, none of the old drummers would know.
Right.
And realized how long it had been, like 5 years or so since anybody else played drums for us.
Yeah.
So we're like, ooh, you know, who are we gonna get? And we remembered that our buddy Cameron, who's the drummer for No Luck, which is a punk band in Toledo,
okay,
and he's also the drummer for Cerebral Cortex.
Oh, I've heard of them. Hell yeah.
He, I remembered that he had posted some drum cover videos of some of our songs a while back, and like he's a big fan. You know, he's got our logo tattooed from like here to here on his arm.
Awesome.
And I was like, he's the only one that might know enough songs to play a whole set. So I called him, and he was at work, and I was just like, hey man, how many of our songs do you know? And his response was, how many do I need to know?
Good answer.
He didn't even know what I was talking about or why I was
good. Fuck, that's how you. Yes.
And I was just like, you know, like 5. And we kind of discussed if he knew 5, and it turned out that he at least somewhat knew 5, and had like 4 of them pretty good, and like one of them was a little shaky. And I was like, you want to come play drums for us this weekend at these huge festivals? And he's like, are you fucking with me? I was like, yeah, I really, really wish I was.
Right.
Really, dude, this is a bad situation.
Right.
And I was like, you know, if you do this, like, you know, we'll cover all your plane tickets and your food and your whatever. We'll throw you some cash and stuff. Like, just, you know, come to Florida with us the day after tomorrow.
Literally, yeah. You got less than 48
Yeah.
hours.
And he's like, all right, yeah, dude, I'm down.
Fuck
So
yeah.
he showed up at Zach's, and me, him, and Toby practiced the set. I think we ran through each song like once or twice.
Beautiful.
And then packed everything in the bus and went to the airport. And we got down to Florida. We played Orlando. It went over great. We played at Incarceration. It went over even better. We made it to everything. It was such a relief after getting off stage at Incarceration. I was like, holy shit, it worked.
Right.
And
yeah,
we had
absolutely.
hoped that, because that following Tuesday, we were supposed to film a scene that we're going to be in for an upcoming horror movie, Cult Affairs.
Yes.
And we had it scheduled for that Tuesday, and we ended up pushing it back to, it's now going to be October 27th that we film it.
Yes.
Just to give Charles some more time to get ready for the tour.
No shit.
And
so that's why. Okay.
Yeah, because we're like, he hasn't played drums in several weeks. He's still sick. You know, we want him to get better and be ready, because that Thursday was supposed to be Hamtramck, and we're kicking off the tour.
Yep.
And it was like a couple of days before the tour, and he's like, dude, I'm still sick. I still don't think I can play drums.
Man, so he got hit hard with it.
Yeah. And he was like, I'm still positive, you know? And so we ended up just going, all right, man, well, we're not going to ask like Cameron or somebody to like quit their job to come out and do this run with us, especially if he only knows 5 songs and we're supposed to do a headline set.
You don't
You
have
know,
a
it's just
drummer.
not, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And it was really too short a notice for it to even be within our hands.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, you know what? We're going to cancel the headline dates, the in-between dates, and Cameron's going to fill in and do Ride at the Racetrack with us and Rebel Rock with us. And I started having real bad pains in my side Thursday, which would have been the day that the tour had started.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I don't know that I would have been in great shape to play that day.
Right.
I went to rehearsals the next day and practiced with everybody. And by the end of practice, it was like some pretty severe pain. I had been to urgent care. They had told me, oh, you got a UTI, take these antibiotics, it'll go away.
And
it didn't go away. I did feel when we got to ride at the racetrack, I felt fine for a lot of the morning. I was walking around watching other bands. I was talking to people. I was at the merch table, taking it easy, sitting down a lot and stuff, but like,
yeah,
talking to people and being there at the show.
Yeah.
I knew that it wasn't going to be a comfortable set to play.
But you felt like you could do it.
But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it for sure. I did it at practice last night, even if it's just, you know, throwing my dreads in front of my face and putting the foot on the monitor. If I can get through, you know,
yeah,
I think we were going to play like 7 songs. Like it was a shorter set than a normal headline set, but we were going to do like 7. And Cameron had even learned 2 extra songs in that time period of like a week.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
Like it was, we were going to do it, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, even leading up to that show, man, I was calling around and I was trying to get a fireworks display set up for the end of our set.
Oh man, that was
I was calling people trying to do pyrotechnics. Like I was trying to make it like, we're sorry we canceled all the shit. This is one of our 2 shows this month. We're going to really
go hard.
It's crazy. We're going to go hard. We're headlining the inside of a racetrack. We're going to make this crazy. And we were really excited for that. And that stuff didn't pan out, but we're like, you know what? We're just going to play. We're going to throw down. We're going to spray blood. It's going to be a convalescence show.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to feel horrible afterwards, but I was like, at least I'm going home afterwards, and I can lay on the couch for another week till we got to fly back to Florida.
Right.
And yeah, about 6:30, 6:45, I just started getting like super bad pains in my side to the point where I was having trouble even like standing up.
Yeah.
And it was like this sensation of I have to piss so bad, and nothing, you can't piss.
Yep. That's like I've had that before. That's that's the symptom at least of a UTI typically.
Typically,
I've had that before, and it's a nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare.
And I'm like dealing with this, and I'm like just trying to get it to go away enough for me to be like, all right, I'm going to be all right. And it was like maybe a half hour or so, and Icer saw me, our merch guy saw me walking out of the bathroom. He's
That's
like,
right when I saw you for the first time.
He's like, dude, what's going on, man? You don't look good. And I'm like, I don't feel good. Like I told him what was going on. He's like, that sounds like kidney failure. He's like, I'm going to get Katie. And I was like,
yes, because she's a nurse. Good call.
Right. And Katie comes over and she's like checking my pulse and like doing the whole nurse thing, and she's like, you need to go to a hospital like immediately. She's like, this isn't good like at all. You need to go to a hospital now. Like, we're not playing. You need to go.
Yeah.
And I agreed right away, which they were all surprised because I don't do that.
Yeah.
So they were like, and Katie's known me for a really long time. She goes, I've never seen you like that.
Yeah.
Like pain wise. She's like, so I knew it was something like really serious here.
Yeah.
And Aaron Foltz from Heavy Metal Syndicate,
Oh, hell
been a friend of ours for a really long time, gave me and Katie a ride to a nearby hospital.
In Michigan?
And, in Michigan.
Okay.
It was like a few miles away from the track. And I was skeptical I was even going to be able to be in a car long enough to make it.
Oh my God.
Like I was having trouble even like sitting down, anything. And we get into the hospital and there was like a couple people ahead of me in the waiting room that were going to get rooms before me. And by the time they called me in, I was like literally laying on the floor of the waiting room screaming.
Oh my God.
Like uncontrollably. And they got me into the room and started giving me painkillers and stuff. I couldn't even like respond to them.
They weren't even doing anything?
Well, no, it was in so much pain I couldn't speak.
Oh, you couldn't respond. Oh, okay.
I couldn't respond. No, they were great. The nurses up there and the doctors up there were phenomenal.
Nice, good.
And they did the CAT scan on me and the whole thing. What was funny is one of the nurses that took me to the CAT scan, she's like, I saw you guys in incarceration last week. I really like the set.
No shit.
So that was kind of a funny way to meet somebody that like
meet a fan.
Yeah. Was I'm screaming, take me to this CAT scan. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So after a fair amount of painkillers, they're like, we literally can't give you any more. I was sober, not feeling loopy whatsoever, and finally able to have a conversation with them and was still in pain.
Right.
And they're like, so good news is you don't have a UTI. Urgent care was wrong. I'm like, sick.
Okay.
They're like, bad news is you have a 4.8 millimeter kidney stone blocking your ureter. And I'm like, huh, cool. So I'm not totally sure what that means, but it sounds bad.
That's really bad.
That's really bad. What had happened was the ureter is like from your kidney to your bladder, and it's only like 3 millimeters wide.
Right.
And so I had a 4.8 millimeter kidney stone trying to pass through it, and it got stuck, and my kidney was filling up with fluid.
Oh no!
And
oh my God,
that's where like all the pain and everything came from. And basically they were telling me it was a very, very good thing I went to the hospital when I did, or this could have gotten real serious.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Holy shit.
So I was in the hospital for a few hours. That night, the tour bus actually picked me up from the ER.
Nice.
So they got a kick of that when I was leaving.
That's awesome.
But they picked me up and we went straight back to my house. And I had to wait and in the morning get the prescriptions for all the stuff they gave me and whatever. And I ended up going through that for about a week.
Oh God.
And then finally passed it here at home.
God damn.
Not pleasant.
No.
And I actually, what's funny is I'd be going through that for the entire week, and it was Friday, and we were going to be flying out the next morning for Rebel Rock. And then I get the call that Rebel Rock is canceled.
Yeah, that did get canceled. That's right.
And due to what they claimed was weather.
But apparently, there's some shittery going on there.
Yeah, there's I'm not going to say too much on that, but it's,
we don't need to. We don't need to. But yeah, there's.
They already know. They already know how I feel towards them.
Good.
I've made that very clear. But regardless, it was canceled. And right after I found out it was canceled, I went in the bathroom and passed a kidney stone.
Oh my God. Okay.
So it was an unpleasant day. I was not in the best of moods.
I believe it.
To say the least. And I was in severe pain to the point where I was questioning whether I had actually passed it or not.
Oh my God.
Because don't get me wrong, it was painful, but I was still in a lot of pain after that.
Oh,
Thankfully, just like sore, I think.
so you recognized that you passed it, but once you did, you're like, I'm still in enough pain to where I think there's something might still be in there.
Right.
Okay.
And I was like almost going to go to the ER again.
Okay.
And finally, I started feeling better. And then by the next morning, I was, tired,
But
better.
Good.
Yeah. So
God damn it, man.
I've been doing fine since then. I think a couple of days later, I saw you up at Slipknot.
Yeah. It was not long after that, for sure.
And then I went out to the Black Dahlia Carnifex show as well.
Great show.
And I've just been trying to.
So much fun seeing you there. So much fun seeing you at both of those. I totally never expected it. That was a genuine joy, like, to run into you at those two shows.
Yeah, man. I grew up listening to Slipknot and Killswitch and all that. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going, and
I tell you,
like Dahlia and Carnifex and everything. Like I never miss them if I'm home.
Ever. No. And I tell you what,
of course,
Slipknot that night, that is the best I've ever heard them sound.
Yeah, that was killer.
Unfucking believable. That was so good. It was so good.
It was killer. I'll be up at November 5th. I'll be up at the Crowfoot for Guar and Napalm Death as well.
Are you?
Yep, I'll be up at that one.
All right, then that seals the deal. I was on the fence about going because I wasn't sure if I was.
How are you gonna miss Guar, and how many times?
Right?
How many times are you gonna get to see Napalm Death?
Right? Like that's. I was like kind of on the fence about going, but that seals the deal. I'll be there, 100%. Yeah. No, that's a fucking harrowing journey you went on, my friend. That's that's something. My dad has had problems with kidney stones in the past, so I've seen it kind of first. I've never had one myself, thankfully, but I've seen it firsthand. And there's this fucked up story that's I guess I'd have to ask my dad if it's actually true or not. But there's this story.
I heard about your grandpa.
Yeah, where his fucking.
I watched the other podcast. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So
that's a lot. I don't know if I'm going to go there with that.
That's a story that's been around my family for a while. But thankfully that you're better now. You guys got 3 dates coming up here at the end of the month.
We
do. On top of that, the Wednesday. Okay, so what you guys are looking for extras to be in a movie scene?
Okay.
Next Wednesday.
So, a friend of ours, Nate Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He made a short film called Cult Affairs.
Oh, okay.
And he shot it in Monroe and all that stuff, and he's
Monroe, Michigan?
Yeah, he's from Michigan.
Oh.
He's from Monroe.
Okay. I was actually that's where I was born. So yeah. Right.
Yeah, and he directed that whole thing and everything, and it's like a 6-minute or 6.5 minute little short film.
Okay.
And it kind of picked up some steam, and he did a really good job with promoting it and stuff like that. And he had hit me up to see if he could pass out posters at Toledo Death Fest. Okay. And just to promote the film.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm cool with that, but I was like, why don't you just set up a booth? I'll give you a booth. And I asked him if he needed any music, told him that we were trying to get our foot in the door in the horror community. We wanted to do some movies, and we wanted to do some more like TV and movie related kind of things. And if he needed any music, or any extras or anybody to be in the movie, to let me know. And he hit me back up and was stoked and was like, I actually have a perfect role for you guys. And was basically like, I need a band to be performing in the movie. And so of course we were like, yes, obviously.
Yeah. 100%.
And when I talked to him, we discussed it. I told him that I wanted the crowd at the show and the movie to be our real fans. And I was like, because what's going to look more authentic?
Right.
A bunch of people that don't know any of the music that are just like, this is how I act at a metal show.
Right.
Or a bunch of metalheads that know all of our tunes.
that actually know what to do. Yeah.
that also already have our merch. That also, you know
Mhm.
what I mean. So they know what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And he, we agreed that that would be the way to go.
Yeah.
So we've been just kind of like, anybody that digs the band, hit me up. I'll put your name on the list. Come out, and you'll be just in the crowd while we play. And it's going to be filmed for this horror film.
And so he's making a full length feature
Of Cult Affairs.
Of Cult Affairs. So based off of the short.
So he based off the short film that he already
Beautiful.
did.
Beautiful.
He, I believe, released another one called The Cult Leader, which is another short film. And then this is going to be Cult Affairs, and it's got more of the title that I can't remember off the top of my head. I probably should know that, but it's just he wants to make a full movie, like a full length movie.
Right.
And so he's giving us a scene, and then I have another small acting scene in it as well.
Oh, awesome.
So, and I don't know when it'll come out or
Right.
anything like that. But yeah, we're set up to do that on Wednesday, October 27th, next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And all anybody's got to do to be in it is shoot me a message.
Holler at you. Excellent.
And I'll get you on the list. And, if you got some friends that are Convalescence fans that want to be in it too, give me their names, and there's a list of rules and details and dress code and stuff that I send out to everybody.
Yeah.
And it should be a good time. I'm glad that we get to involve our fans and friends and all of that will make it kind of a more authentic and fun experience. Because then, when the movie comes out, they all get to be like, dude, I'm in this.
Yes.
That's cool.
No, it's very much, when you first hit me up about it, back when the original filming date was going to be in September, my first thought was Cannibal Corpse and Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Like it was like, this is fucking amazing. Like I have to be a part of this. So like,
it's definitely got like similar vibes to it.
Yeah.
Except for the movie's not like a comedy.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
The way the scene's set up is definitely has that kind of vibe to it.
Hell yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
I'm very excited for you guys.
And to be branching into actually being in a movie.
Yes.
Versus, we put One of the Dead is on the soundtrack for the 14 Ghosts movie from James Wilson. And Scum is going to be coming out on another soundtrack for another movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they picked it up from us like years ago, and they still haven't put the movie out. So it's just kind of a waiting game.
Fair enough.
But so we've been doing stuff like that. We did the cooking show with True Metal Grilling,
which was wonderful.
With the wings, that was a blast.
Love those guys. I've been following them ever since I saw you post about that your episode with them. I've been following them ever since, and they're hysterical. Awesome. They're great.
Yeah. And so we've just been trying to do other stuff. We did the couple documentaries on Amazon Prime that we talked about before.
Of course.
We did the movie premiere that we did, and just that kind of stuff. Trying to branch out of just playing like, here's our death metal album and that's it. You
guys are you're being multimedia. You're doing everything that you are interested in and can do, and it's fantastic. And like I always look forward to everything that you guys like. I don't know, put out, like the documentaries. I love the documentaries, everything. But one thing I have to talk to you about before we get off is something you did about a month ago. I know you already know what it is, but it should be coming out next week, I believe.
Okay.
The actual thing, but you played a show at Mansfield, right?
We played at Ohio State Reformatory.
Ohio State, that's what it was. Yep.
It's in Mansfield. Yeah.
And that is one of the most fucking haunted places on earth, according to everybody that's ever been there. But then,
it's actually also the prison they shot the Shawshank Redemption at.
Yes. Awesome. I love that.
That was our second time we doing incarceration. We did it this year with Rob Zombie and Hailstorm and Motionless White, Beartooth and all that. And we did it in 2018 with Black Label Society.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I grew up as a big Ozzy fan. I saw Black Label Society when I was like maybe 14 years old, like tops. And, growing up, Zakk Wylde was like my favorite guitar player, like out there. And I definitely had like a metal nerd, like fangirl kind of moment.
Oh yeah. Yep.
We had, our stage was like Hatebreed, Corrosion of Conformity, us, Soil, and then there was 2 openers. What? And we had this like trailer, and the whole trailer was like a green room that we were splitting with like Hatebreed and Corrosion of Conformity.
God.
And we were like wedged in between the 2 bands.
Yeah, I would have been fangirling out too.
Well, so I walk outside our trailer, I'm all painted up and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I hear, "Hey, brother." And I look up, and it's Zakk Wylde giving me the metal horns from a golf cart as he's cruising by. And I didn't even, I gave him the horns back, but I didn't really know how to like react for a minute. Took me like 5 minutes to realize that, oh shit, that was Zakk Wylde.
Zakk Wylde just said, "Hey, brother," to me.
Yeah, and gave me the horns. But realistically, I mean, how often is he just like cruising around and sees the dude in corpse paint step out of the trailer?
Right.
So, I mean, it is what it is, but it was definitely fucking cool.
That's incredible.
But yeah, that was our second time playing there. I didn't go into the prison this time. It was just super hectic.
I was going to ask, do you play inside or outside? I don't know how that's set up.
It's like a big, huge outdoor festival.
Okay. Okay.
I think they had like close to 30,000 people this year.
Oh my God.
Like per day.
Wow.
It was sold out like months in advance. You couldn't get tickets.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, we played outside both years or whatever, but you can go in and like walk around the prison. It's like just check it out kind of thing. Like
They let you?
Yeah, you can walk right through where all the cells were. You can walk into some of the cells and stuff. And like all the bunk beds and everything are still in there.
Yeah.
All that. And we did that in 2018. We went walking around, checked it out.
Okay.
And yeah, dude, I mean, it's creepy.
No, yeah, it's absolutely terrifying on the inside.
But I don't think it had anything on Penhurst.
And that's where I was going. You guys you did a lot. Now, you did did you spend the night at Penhurst?
We were at Penhurst until we were in there from 7 p.m. until a little bit after 3 in the morning. Beautiful.
All right. So that's the time you want to be there. Now, so you guys went into Penhurst Asylum. Where's that? Is that in Illinois or is that in Ohio?
It's near Philadelphia.
Oh my God. Oh, it's on the East Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
We did Lisa Tillman, who runs LTTV, it's a newer YouTube channel.
I think I know that one.
It's LTTV. It's paranormal investigations.
Yeah.
And she's done a few hotels and like different stuff in the past.
Yeah.
And she hit us up and wanted to know if we'd be interested in being guests on the paranormal, investigation with her.
So
for LTTV at Penhurst.
Is she a fan?
Actually, we didn't really know her prior to this. It was kind of out of the blue,
okay,
kind of thing. But she's really awesome. Really, really cool to us. Was a great host.
Fantastic.
But yeah, she hit us up, wanted to know if we were interested. I said we were a horror-based band, and that would be great. And we discussed it as a band and decided, yeah, let's go to Penhurst.
And so
and
go to Penhurst. So what does that mean? You do an investigation. What did you guys do there?
Basically we went into Penhurst and filmed, it's along the lines of like a Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures or
sure,
whatever, where you wander through a bunch of, oh, that looks creepy, let's go down there.
Use some equipment,
that kind of thing. And we had a spirit box.
There you go. Yep.
We had multiple, I think they're called like EMF readers or whatever.
Yep. I have multiple.
We had some digital recorders. We had GoPros. We had a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of ghost stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really. I watch those shows, man, but I'm really bad at all the technical terms for everything.
Fair enough.
And we went there, and I don't know how much you know about Pennhurst.
I know a bit. I've seen quite a few of the ghost shows that have been there.
Yeah. There's also a documentary that is actually what helped get it shut down. That was made by NBC Philadelphia.
Like a long time ago?
Yeah, called "Suffer the Little Children."
Son of a fucking bitch. Have you ever seen American Horror Story Asylum?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's what that's based off of.
I do too after watching that. Because I actually watched that for the first time after being in Pennhurst.
No shit.
While I was laid up on the couch, he was watching.
Dude, that's my favorite season of that show ever.
So watching that, really what was happening in that show, magnify that by like at least 10, and that was Pennhurst.
Holy shit.
They were thousands of patients over capacity.
Yes.
Understaffed.
This is literally the documentary I think you're referring to, if I'm not mistaken, is literally like they kind of recreated it if you've ever seen American Horror Story Asylum, but it's literally like the camera is going through unlit hallways. Like if there's not even lights on, and there's just people in the hallways just covered in filth and like the most inhumane fucking conditions outside of a goddamn concentration camp that you can imagine. Like,
Right.
You know, it is absolutely fucking horrifying.
Yeah, it was a horrendous place, man.
Yeah.
And we, just for the, we're all interested in that kind of thing and the paranormal stuff. And a lot of the members had gone and done like their own paranormal investigations of like stuff in their hometown, like an abandoned building.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like you get the little ghost hunt things you can go on around Halloween and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we had never been where it's like, we're going to go on a trip to this place, and had to get like permission from Pennhurst, and permission from the state of Pennsylvania. And there was one of the people that I believe owned Pennhurst was there when we got there.
What did you need permission from the state of Pennsylvania for?
It was originally Pennhurst State School.
Oh.
And they do run a haunted house out of it now.
Oh, I didn't know
Halloween time in like the main building.
Okay.
Which we were not able to go into the main building, but it's all set up like a haunted house at this point anyway.
Right.
I don't know how authentic that would have really been.
Right.
And we were kind of limited to where we were able to go because a lot of the buildings are falling down or starting to cave in.
Oh wow.
And it's
a large campus. It's multiple buildings. Yeah.
Oh, it's huge. It was like a couple thousand acres, I believe.
Oh my God.
It had its own power plant.
That's right.
It was completely cut off from like all cities around it. It was its own thing.
Yeah.
They grew their own food. They made clothing there. They made shoes there. They had a cemetery, a morgue, their own hospital.
Yep.
Their own everything.
That's insane.
So basically you went in there and you never got out.
Nope.
In a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So we were able to go into the main, our headquarters building was one of the buildings that still had power, which was the Mayflower building, right, like towards the front of Pennhurst, and went into Mayflower, and we were able to talk to the person that owned it. She walked us around the front main area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because there's all these like raised up areas where there's like walking paths to get around, but under all those raised areas there's underground tunnels, and that's how they used to transport patients, so they would never have to take them outside.
Yeah.
And so everywhere there's these walking paths, all the buildings are connected by these tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
All the buildings on the whole campus.
Same.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah, that's insane.
But we went into Mayflower, and we were able to go to the basement of Mayflower. We were able to go second and third floor of Mayflower. And there was a lot of like little kids' toys in the basement of Mayflower, dolls and stuff like that. But then you'd also see like gurneys and like stained up mattresses just on the floor everywhere. And like there was a little like classroom set up in the basement of Mayflower with like a chalkboard and like pews.
Oh,
And it was just like in the basement.
yeah, that's weird.
And it was just like super weird. And you could go kind of down the tunnel each way, but it was blocked off before you got too far.
For sure.
And then we went back up after we had finished, Mayflower, and like the second floor and the third floor, it was all these like metal cubicles almost. But it was set up in a way where the whole building like mirrored itself. So it was like disorienting, like being in there.
Oh, okay.
And it's all these metal like little cubicles everywhere. And it's like this fucking maze. And that's where they would have everybody sleep and live. And they would just sleep on these like mattresses in there. And like it's just really fucking weird in there. And so we went back down, we met back up with her, and she's like, all right, well, I'm going to let you into the tunnel underneath the Philadelphia building. You couldn't go in the Philadelphia building, but you could go in the tunnel portion underneath it.
Okay.
And we were down there. I got scratched and was bleeding like through my corpse paint.
What?
Like there was on my leg. I wear the acrylic paint on my leg.
Yep.
And there was two distinct like we were filming something unrelated to what's going to be in this episode, and I was doing what I was doing and got kind of knocked on my leg. Like I felt something hit my leg, and we finished the take or whatever. And we got out of the tunnel. I looked down, there's two distinct finger marks where all the paint was gone. And I was like bleeding, like somebody had scratched me with like two fingers kind of thing.
Dude, that's actually insane on a crazy level if you actually think about it, because like you are the first person I have ever heard of to have gotten scratched while wearing something like paint on their skin to where you could actually see, like, that's nobody else has ever done. No fucking ghost hunter in history has ever gone into a fucking haunted house and put paint on themselves to see if they get scratched.
We did the whole investigation in our full stage get-ups.
That's insane, dude. That you might be the first person in history that has any. Did you take a picture or anything?
Oh yeah, there's picture and video. It'll be in the
good. Fantastic. Because that's incredible evidence, actually.
Yeah, it was really crazy. It was unsettling for sure.
I believe it. How did you when you first felt it on your leg, did you like did you
honestly I originally thought maybe my dreads hit my leg.
Okay.
And because I was like, like headbanging and whatever,
sure.
And I thought maybe my dreads hit my leg, but it didn't look like it was like too clean and too like spaced perfectly and whatever for me to like really believe that. And we looked back at the footage we had just gotten, and when I stumbled, my hair was on the other side of my body. So it was not my dreads.
And anything, if it was anything else, it would have been in the footage. So
yeah. So, and there was nothing that caused that we could see on the footage, that at least the footage we had.
That's
Um,
incredible.
Now we left the Philadelphia tunnel and we went into another tunnel. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like towards the back, and it was a really, really long portion of the tunnel.
Okay.
It had like one of these Texas Chainsaw Massacres with the big metal doors.
Oh wow.
Slide.
All right.
And we got into the tunnel, and the host that was at Penhurst was like, "Good luck," and shut the door on us behind us. And it was just like, "Oh, that's good."
Thanks, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah. So, but yeah, we went through the tunnel, and there was some weirdness with like the EMF readers down there. And we caught some stuff on camera that we didn't hear at the time. That was
audio?
on the footage, on the audio, yeah.
Okay.
As like some responses to some of the things we were saying,
Yeah.
but we didn't hear them at the time.
You couldn't hear them with your own ears, but you heard them on the playback.
Right. Because when I was playback through at least our footage, I have not seen the footage that Lisa got.
Oh shit.
I have not seen what she has. She
Okay.
was very excited about what she has,
Okay.
but I have not seen her footage. I only went through the footage that we had also heard. And I sent her the stuff that I caught stuff in. I made notes, and at this second mark, like,
good.
this
Nice.
is what I found. Check it out.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like enhancing the audio and stuff, and I'm sure they'll find even more than what I did. But I know I had enough footage from just what we had to where I had to buy an external hard drive to put all the stuff on it and mail it to it.
Holy shit.
So
Holy shit.
I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah.
And we went into the Devon building, which is the biggest standing building still at Penhurst, if I remember correctly. And we went on the 3 levels of Devon, and that was a very that was fucked up, man. That building's fucked up. And there's another like dorm style like building like that. And we did the spirit box in there and EMFs in there, and caught some pretty insane shit. I don't want to give too much away with the episode or anything, but
fair enough.
Some pretty insane shit went down at Penhurst, and it was, I don't know, it was weird. I felt weird for several days after being home. Just, I don't know, something unsettling kind of thing.
And you weren't the only one that felt that way.
No. I mean, the whole band had different experiences. Zach was not with us. Well, Zach was with us, but he stayed in the bus, not because he was scared or anything. He wasn't feeling up to it.
Fair enough.
As far as he got a little overheated in the bus earlier that day and was not feeling well enough to go exploring for several hours through a bunch of abandoned buildings.
In a bunch of makeup.
Right.
I
So
get it.
he stayed on the bus. And Charles had injured his foot at work and wanted to make sure that he didn't. So we went there 3 days before we started the Jungle Rock tour.
They didn't want to aggravate it.
And we didn't want him to have an issue with his ankle to where we couldn't play like those shows or whatever.
That's totally understandable. Yep.
So, but me, Toby, Ron, and Katie were all there.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a crazy experience. We got some really cool stuff.
The building you were just, what was the building you were just talking about?
The Devon building.
Devon building. Now, I'm not gonna ask any crazy details or anything, but like your first description of that is that building is fucked up. Like, what can you give me like any
just some of the feeling that you got in there?
Okay.
Was that like something there wanted to hurt you?
As soon as you walk in.
It was a very sour, very bitter kind of feeling. Like the feeling you get when there's somebody in the room with you that's really fucking pissed off at you.
Yeah.
And like that moment right before they're like about to snap and like start swinging on you.
Yep.
That like tension feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It was that the entire time we were in that fucking building.
Holy shit.
So, and I mean, we did some stuff, like there was like an upstairs bathroom, and we had Katie like climb into the bathtub, and like we were asking all these crazy questions, and like it said some really fucked up shit on the spirit box, and like
it was responding to you.
Oh yeah, we got responses we didn't get any responses in Mayflower, but we got responses in the Philadelphia tunnel, and we got responses in the Devon building on the spirit box.
I've done a lot of spirit box sessions, and I've literally sat there for hours on end with a fucking spirit box and gotten nothing. And then you move somewhere else or something, and then it starts talking to you. Like that shit, I can't explain it. I don't know what it is, but I also don't think it's fake.
The footage we got was a lot of the time back and forth for 6 to 10 responses in a row.
Son of a bitch.
Sometimes from multiple different people, it seemed like.
Multiple voices coming through?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Okay.
And this was with 6 or 7 of us standing in the room.
Holy shit.
So, I mean, it was weird, man, for sure.
Now, one more time, what's the name of this YouTube channel that this video is going to be released on? I believe next week, if I'm not mistaken.
LTTV.
LTTV. I will actually put a link to that in the description below for everybody to check that out. So,
as far as our episode goes, the target release date is next week.
Yeah.
We're trying to have it out by the 28th.
Beautiful.
We ended up with a lot more footage than we anticipated. And they've been working on editing it a lot. Unfortunately, delays in editing kind of fell on us as well.
Happens.
We got all that footage done, and then we went directly on tour.
Right.
And, so since there was so much big files, we didn't really have like the ability to send that to her, like during the tour.
Fair. I mean, you said you have to get a fucking external hard drive.
Right. And then when I got home, I had COVID and barely got over that in time to go do the festivals. And then I had the kidney stone. And it was a mess. So it was end of September. I finally was like, I have that footage for you. I'll mail it out.
Okay.
And I mean, we got it over to her as quickly as we could once I was able to, but it still took a minute for me to have time to sit down and go through the footage and kind of narrow it down for them.
That's very time consuming.
Yeah. It took me I worked on it several hours a day for about a week.
Yep.
To get through just what I had.
Yep.
So I know they're working on it really hard. She contacted me a few days ago to see if we could do some post being at Pennhurst interviews, and she had some questions for us. So we're still in the process of filming that stuff. That'll be a lot easier to edit and everything, obviously, but
that's neat.
So we have the members that were there doing that, filming that, and then having to get that handed over to her as well. So it's possible that it'll be out on the 28th. It's also possible it may be backed up a little bit.
Fair enough.
But the best I can say is it will be out soon. Like I said, it was a hell of a thing.
I mean, Jesus, man, that is it sounds like you got more activity that night than I've gotten on any fucking investigation I've ever been on. Was it's insane.
It's up there with some of the most uncomfortable places I've ever been. For sure.
Yeah.
You get if you ever heard the term the ground is sour.
The ground is sour?
Yeah, there's just anything that's put there is just not going to be okay, kind of like a pet cemetery vibe.
Okay.
If you bury something there, it's going to come back as a weird fucking zombie or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of like that.
I see that.
Nothing here is going to be okay, ever, is the vibe that you get when you're there.
Holy shit.
So it was just a sickening, uncomfortable feeling.
Oh, man. That is even before you guys went there, I have a bucket list locations that I want to investigate someday. That has always been on my list. And for this is talking to you, you're the first person I know personally that has ever actually been there. And for you to tell me all of this, especially considering, you know, on the very first episode you were ever on, I ended that episode with, have you ever had a paranormal experience? And now, you know, you guys went there and had all of this happen. You got fucking scratched, dude, by something that wasn't there. Like, what? I still don't know. Because I like I always said, I try to come at the guy. It's something I want to believe in, but I come at it from a very scientific kind of point of view. I need extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, but at the same time, it's stuff like that I don't know how to reconcile with. It's like
there was. I mean,
how do you explain that?
For us, man. I mean, I really, if it didn't sound like a clear response, on the spirit box, I really discredited it.
Yep, same. I do the same.
You know, if somebody heard a thud at the end of the hallway, there's us in the footage stomping or hitting our hands against stuff or whatever to see if we can recreate the sound.
Yep.
To make sure it wasn't one of us.
Yep.
That made the sound or whatever. Because especially in some of the tunnels, the acoustics in there are very weird.
Everything echoes.
And what was weird is like sometimes we go through the footage and we'd have like the same time period where 3 different people were filming at different parts of the room. So you would hear something clear as day on one, but then it wouldn't even be there on the other 2.
Huh.
And you're like, well, what the hell? You know, you know, and you know, stuff the spirit box said even would sound a certain way on one camera and then sound a certain way on another camera. Almost like it said something different. And it was like, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. There was a spot for a little bit where every time Ron turned the GoPro on, the EMF reader would shut off. Like it would stop going off. But then if he turned the GoPro off, it would come back on.
Oh, that's super fucking weird, actually. Because
And even when he would like turn around, like not facing that way, it would go off. And then he'd turn the camera back in that area and it would shut off again. So that was hard to tell if that was like some kind of weird interference that I've never heard of, or if that was really something, you know. So I'm skeptical on some of the stuff. But on the same note, you know, like there was definitely some feelings there that I hadn't felt before. There was definitely some weirdness going on in there. You know, there was more than just what we could debunk and explain on the spot.
Yeah. So. What's weird about that EMF thing with Ron is at the most recent investigation I did, it's called the Stimson Hospital. It's an old hospital in Eaton Rapids, Michigan. And what I discovered that night is I was filming in one hand and holding an EMF in the other hand. And I was kind of moving the EMF around a little bit because it kept like having readings. And I was trying to figure out what it was. What I discovered was that while the camera was on, if the EMF detector got close to the camera while it was on, or if it got close to my cell phone in my pocket, it would go off. That would set it off. So I was able to like debunk the readings I was getting right there, but I went, oh shit, that's what's causing it. Okay. So, but for Ron's to go off.
Ron had the GoPro and was down the hallway from the people holding the EMF. He was at least 10, 15 feet away.
And when he would point the GoPro at the EMF, it would just turn off.
Yeah, it would stop.
Okay. Yeah, I got nothing for that. I cannot. No, I have no explanation for that at all. That should absolutely should not happen.
And directly after we did that a few times, we turned the spirit box on and got a lot of responses right after that as well. So
there's something going on there.
Yeah, there's some stuff that for sure just seemed to line up like way too perfectly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way. You can't even plan that. We at the same time can't totally like discredit it either. So it's just kind of you know, a lot of us have never done anything like that. So
have you ever done anything like that before that?
I mean, we've stayed at like different hotels that were supposed to be haunted.
But gone to something that is specifically
like, no.
Okay. So that was your first time.
No. I haven't specifically gone out like ghost hunting. You know what I mean? Like, we've been into like haunted buildings and stuff like that.
I mean, you've told me about like places you've even played before that you've had some weird experiences.
We played the El Rosa Villa in Columbus where Dimebag got shot.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was weird. We stayed at a hotel in Camrose, Alberta, Canada, called the Alice. That was super fucking old hotel. That was supposed to be very haunted, and we actually played in the lobby.
Oh wow!
Like they had like a downstairs bar with a stage and a lobby and stuff, and we played in. It was weird. It was like this really fancy, like big, nice chandeliers everywhere, and like really old interior decorating. Like everything was like the velvet chairs and like all that kind of stuff. And
that's neat.
Yeah, all the gold trim and the very decorative everything, and then you have this death metal show and we're spraying blood everywhere like in the corner.
It's such like an awesome dichotomy of scenes.
It was awesome, and it was a great show, and like they gave us rooms there for playing there as well.
Oh, and very nice, very nice.
So we got there and we had an off day, and then the night we played, and then we didn't have to like leave for the next place until like later in the day the next day.
Okay.
Because it wasn't like very far away, and so they gave us rooms for like the night that we got there, and then the night that we played, and then let us stay until basically we had to leave the next morning.
Canadian hospitality.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're
fucking awesome.
There. But yeah, Camrose is like a really little town in Alberta, and all the room keys, instead of like the digital room keys,
sure,
like the old skeleton keys.
It's an actual key instead of like a card?
Like an actual metal key, like the old skeleton keys you see to like open attics and horror movies and stuff.
That's old. That's old school right there.
Yeah, that's how all the keys and everything were, like just super old. Like the rooms, you could tell like they hadn't been updated since probably the fucking 40s.
Wow.
And
it's almost like staying at a place frozen in time.
It really was.
That's
really
awesome.
was. It was interesting. But we stayed there. There was the Plains Hotel in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I've heard of that for some reason.
A lot of people have like, died in there or jumped out the window.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that over the years. And we stayed there. It was actually our bus broke down in Nebraska. And the band that we were on tour with came back to pick us up and pick our gear up with their trailer after they loaded in to the venue in Cheyenne. They drove back from Cheyenne back to Nebraska to pick us up with our gear and take it back to the venue so we wouldn't miss the show that night.
God damn.
And we left our bus in Nebraska. And it was cold. It was really cold. But we got there and we played the show, and a couple of the people that came to the show worked at the Plains Motel or Plains Hotel.
Oh.
And they said, "Hey man, we marked off a room that it was being cleaned for the night. Nobody's gonna check it till tomorrow. If you guys want to go stay there, it's cool."
Oh wow.
And it was like this badass like suite, like at the top of the building. Like our room had bedrooms.
Oh wow. Oh, that's awesome.
It was a huge place, really awesome. And we got up there and they had all this beer and liquor and everything laid out for us in the room. And so it was really cool because they knew that we were
cool.
And
that's amazing.
So we used the money we made from the show to send Katie and our bus driver at the time back to the bus in Nebraska in Uber. It was like 2 hours away.
Okay.
And they got dropped off just on the side of the road at this bus in the dark. And they could only drive so far before it started overheating.
Okay.
So, and it was leaking. So what they had to keep putting water in it.
Yeah.
So what they were doing is driving, they'd stop at a truck stop at one exit, fill it up with water, drive to the next exit, pull over at that truck stop, fill it up with water.
Oh
drive
my
to the
God.
next exit, and the bus didn't have heat.
Oh
So
shit.
I think it got down to like under 20 degrees. And so it took them, I think, 7 hours to get back to where we were.
On a 2-hour drive.
On a 2-hour drive. I think it took them like close to 7. They got there early in the morning, and we were supposed to play Denver that night, which is only like 2 hours away from Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
And the venue was cool enough. It was actually a record store.
Oh, neat.
But they let us put all of our gear in their storage area in the back room and keep it there overnight till our bus showed up.
Oh, how nice.
And they would be open the next morning as a record store, and we could just come in whenever and get our stuff.
Oh, well, that's
so
very nice.
They were super, super chill and super cool about that. And a mechanic friend of ours from Denver drove up to Cheyenne and literally like rigged up our bus on the side of the road.
From Denver?
He drove from Denver up to Cheyenne.
Oh, man.
And he fixed our bus enough to make it to Denver. And he's like, it'll make it, but you got to take it to my shop right after.
Make it to my shop. Yeah.
We're like, done.
Fuck
So
yeah.
we drove it to the show in Denver and guest listed him, and he came out and partied with us and everything, and we played the show.
Yeah.
And then we went and got it fixed at his shop, and then we're able to continue the tour from there because he fixed our bus.
Oh my God.
So it was just really nuts.
That is so wild.
That's how we ended up staying at that hotel.
But also at the same time, have you ever been on a tour that isn't that nuts? Like, I feel like every time you guys go out, the world throws everything it can at you. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not denying that.
Everything. You guys
there's always something.
Always.
But
always. And Katie's a goddamn machine for doing that 7-hour bus trip back. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. And I mean, like a lot of the stuff, is stuff we're going to include in the DVD.
Awesome.
We have a bunch of stories and a bunch of stuff that we're going to bring up, but we just can't fit everything.
Of course. But these stories are what, I mean, people, everybody that loves you guys, like, this is what you tell, stories like this. And on days where fans of you, people like me, where I'm like, I don't want to fucking, having a down day or whatever, like just not feeling motivated or whatever, I think about your stories and I'm like, fuck that, fuck myself. Like, they did that, I can do this. Like, it's inspirational. Yeah. It's really, it means a lot, like, for you guys to share all these stories.
I mean, it's really, we haven't done that much documentary stuff, like prior to the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah.
There's not a lot of footage from the early days. I mean, most of us couldn't even afford to have a cell phone.
I was going to say, outside of fan cell phone footage, you're right. And in the early days, most people are still on fucking flip phones.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, dude, I remember doing whole tours where I didn't even have a phone.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Like,
yeah.
I just, I just was like, oh, I'm going to go play metal now. I guess I'll be back in a month. Like, and that was it. Like, I would just be gone, and if I got somewhere where I could borrow somebody's phone for a minute and call somebody, then cool. If not, you just don't hear from me.
Yeah.
And we would just go show to show and play.
Yep.
And I'm glad those days are over.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because
and you guys are in an incredibly better spot now for all those things that you've been through. You guys have been through the ringer in every sense of the fucking word. And yeah, it's the relentlessness. It's Yeah, it's the same thing. There's no right way to do this. There's no how to book. There's no how to be a metal band for dummies, right? That doesn't exist. Okay, everybody
it's
does
different
it their
for
own
everyone.
way. It's different for everyone, absolutely. But the one common thread that I found, at least through the bands that I love, bands like Cannibal, Hatebreed, Dahlia, you guys, Battlecross, even, it's the one common thread is relentlessness. It's no, this is what we're doing, no matter fucking what. This is what's happening. And it's that relentlessness. It seems like if you're a band that has that thing, that motivation, that this is what we're doing, then there's nothing in the world that stops it. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, like I said, there's no right way or wrong way to do it. Everybody does it different, but that's the one common thread I've found through all of the bands that influence Children of Bodom, Lamb of God, all the bands that fucking I love and influence me personally. That's the one common thread I found, is just non-stop, no matter if I don't care if our bus is broken down. I don't care if we're caught in a snowstorm. Like that fucking story you told last time. I don't care if we're about to die. If the police are telling me if you drive down this road, you will die. And we do it anyway, and we make it to the show. It's that thing that is just common through all of them, for all you guys. It's, yeah. And I love it. I think it's amazing. And it's the stories that you get from it are priceless. Like, there's nobody else has experiences like that. Like, those stories are so valuable. Like, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't trade what we do for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
We have had a lot of times where I'm just like, why in the fuck are we doing this? Like,
fucking,
I've sat there and been, on both ends, just sweating my ass off, freezing,
warming up ramen noodles on the engine.
Right. So there's been tours where we're like, somebody is so sick, I've broken bones on tour.
Yes.
And it's like, we're not missing a show.
Which speaks to what you just went through for Ride at the Racetracks. You have played through broken bones. That's why Katie and Icer were so like, oh yeah, no, he needs to go to the hospital if he's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
If he's agreeing to it, like, that's so that speaks to that.
There was even the moment where Icer was standing there, Katie had walked away for a minute to, I believe, go get Aaron. And when Katie came, Icer's like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm like, yeah, like, let's go. And he was blown away by it. And Katie comes up and she starts immediately talking to try to convince me to go to the hospital. And Icer's like, Katie, he already agreed. And she goes, what? Really?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Out of here.
That's not, you would never do that unless you fucking had to.
No, and I was laying in a hospital bed on painkillers, texting my band saying, yeah, dude, play instrumental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
dude,
yeah, you were going to have them go on without you.
Yeah.
What happened?
Unfortunately, and I'm not going to get too far into that or anything.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we were unable to do so.
I would have still loved to see that. That would have been cool.
Yeah. And
but it's okay.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But
still a great show. Still a great show that you guys put on, and everybody that was there fucking loved it. It was a great show.
Yeah. And I got to see it all the way up to Phil Spewer, and everybody killed it.
Fucking killed it. Yeah.
And so I was happy with it up until the part where I was like dying.
Yeah.
Then it kind of sucked after that.
Yeah.
I was more upset that we weren't going to be playing the show than I was that I had to go to the hospital.
Exactly.
Like, I was like, fuck, man, like, I wonder if I can get to the hospital and get back in time.
Yeah.
It was even like I thought.
Dude, I would have been thinking the fucking same thing. Like, that's, and that speaks to the whole thing. That's what I'm talking about. That drive, that relentlessness, that this is everything. There is nothing else. Even if I'm screaming in pain, like.
Yeah, I got walked out of there, man, and I was looking around. I saw how many of our shirts were there, and I saw how many like familiar faces that I knew, and I was just like, man, I'm bummed. Like,
I believe it.
Man, I'm bummed to be leaving right now, but I feel like something's really not right.
And
turns out I was right.
Oh, you were 100% right. And
that could have been very bad long there.
Yeah. No, you were 100% right to go.
Yeah. So I'm glad I went, and I'm glad that I was able to get through that and get back to the point where, I'm ready to play a show.
And not only that, that show right at the racetracks, you will more than make up for on Halloween night here in just over a week. And of course, it's a 3-day tour, correct? Yeah, yep. I got it right here. 3-day tour starting on October 29th in Fort Wayne, Indiana at the Rockstar Lounge. October 30th, Devil's Night in Toledo, Ohio at the Main Street Bar and Grill. All coming together on Halloween night in Chesterfield at the Diesel Lounge up here in Michigan. And it's going to be madness, dude. Like, hands down, most anticipated show of the year.
We're very excited. We know that these are our last 3 shows of the year.
Are they?
We're not playing any more in 2021.
Okay. Is there anything that you guys are doing for the rest of 2021 at all? Like any live streams, anything at all?
Right now we have, like I said, the album's going into mixing in November. We're doing this movie shoot.
Yep.
For Cult Affairs.
And that TV show thing, what's it called again?
LTTV.
No, the food thing.
Oh yeah, the Taste of Monroe.
Is that the name of the YouTube channel, Taste of?
I have to look, actually.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll put it in the description below for everybody.
Yeah. They've had a couple guests. They had one of the retired Detroit Red Wings was on one with them.
Oh, cool.
They had one that was.
So it must be a Michigan thing then.
Yeah. It's
okay.
All the episodes are from Monroe.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh yeah.
So season 1 is all the restaurants in the big restaurants in Monroe.
Beautiful.
They had what's his name? Rhino, one of the wrestlers.
Okay.
Used to be in WWE.
Okay.
He was on one of them at this Mexican restaurant or whatever recently. They just had the retired dude that used to be the voice of the Detroit Tigers. The broadcaster guy.
Yep, I know who that guy is. Yep.
Yeah, they just had him on one. They've had a couple rappers and stuff on them. So I'm stoked that they hit me up and wanted me to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. That's fucking awesome.
From my understanding, which will be cool, I'm filming my episode November 10th, and I invited a shitload of metalheads out to come hang out and eat at Larson's Bar with us. But December 1st, I believe, and I'm not sure what the restaurant is yet, but I'm sure we'll make posts about it. They're having all of the guests that were on all the episodes get together at one spot for a finale thing.
Oh, that's so neat. That's wonderful.
And I'm sure, people are welcome to come out to that as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So it'll be cool to sit down and be in full corpse paint at some restaurant with, Detroit Red Wings and wrestlers and the voice of the Tigers and some rappers and whatever.
That's going to be awesome, man. You're going to have so much fun.
Yeah, it should be.
If it's
interesting.
Public, I'll be there, but
yeah.
Awesome.
I'm sure it will be. But it seems like they're kind of getting up and going with their show as well. We're just always down to do whatever we can, and if I think it's cool, we're down.
Yeah.
I don't really care if it's got 20 subscribers.
No. Yeah.
Or if it's got 20,000 subscribers,
it's what you're into.
It's fine, And True Metal Grilling was fuck yeah, we'll cook chicken wings with you guys. And that was a blast, dude. And I still watch that episode every once in a while. Just
So do I.
you know, and I like doing interviews with you, and like Matt McGocky's Box and Hops podcast is phenomenal.
So good. So good.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to
I
Matt.
love him. I listen to him a lot. I love the Box and Hops. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the one Box and Hops in person with him in Canada.
Yeah, I heard that one.
Did another one, the Thirsty Thursday thing.
Yeah, I was on a Thirsty Thursday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thirsty Thursdays is always fun. And got to meet a lot of cool people on that one that had tuned in from like around the world, which is really
awesome. That's right. You brought me in on that Thirsty Thursday one. That's right. We did it together.
Yeah, the invite. Right.
Yeah, man. That was so fun. That was amazing.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of cool ones. I mean, you always mention Garrett's podcast,
Dipping Milk and Cookies.
And you know, LTTV is another one doing the cool thing with the paranormal investigations, and you know, obviously True Metal Grilling, and then there's some people that do hot sauce reviews and stuff, and different stuff like that.
These guys, I've been watching a lot of great Thralls of Metal. Do you know that one?
I don't. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, check them out. They I can't tell if they're in Southeast Michigan or Northeast Ohio. Honestly, I can't tell where they're. Okay. But they got to be right in there somewhere because they've been to a whole bunch of shows that you and I have been to recently, and
nice.
And I know I found them because they do like heavy metal hot sauce reviews and stuff, and but they do a whole bunch of other stuff too, just like we do, and yeah, definitely check them out. They seem like really cool guys. Honestly, I'm hoping to have them on here one day.
Nice, nice. I saw the barbecue sauce review that you did. I appreciate it.
Like, I'm not lying. It's literally my favorite that I've had like ever. Like, I fucking love your barbecue sauce.
Something about all the Captain Catfish sauces. That's everything I've ever had from them is phenomenal.
Oh man, like it's just the perfect amount of heat. It's thick. Like I love everything about it. Aaron tried it a few nights ago. He was like, "This is fucking amazing, bro." Like, yeah, I love your hot sauce.
We will have it at all 3 Battlecross dates, as well as we have more Doom sauce.
Yeah. Oh, the Doom sauce is amazing. Yeah.
So yeah, we have plenty of stuff. We reordered merch for the September tour right before we canceled it. So we
so you got plenty of stuff for the
we have plenty of merch.
Yeah. Yep.
We're even going to be digging out, like, we have some hoodies left over that we didn't put out during the summer tour.
Okay. Nice.
We have some of the One of the Dead hoodies, some of the Monument of Misery hoodies. I think we even have a couple of the Christmas sweaters from last year left over.
Oh.
So we might bust those out.
You should.
We have some T-shirts they're up on our big cartel.
Yep.
That are listed as like for sale.
Link in the description below.
Some of them are like shirt designs that we had like 3 or 4 years ago, even.
Oh wow.
That we sold all of them except for like 1 or 2 in like weird sizes.
Okay.
And so we don't display them anymore because we don't want to take up a whole display spot.
Sure.
But
they're there.
We're like, we have 2 of this.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So we don't carry it with us, and we just kind of leave it up in the store, and occasionally somebody finds it and goes, "Oh man, I've never seen this one," and picks it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a handful of designs, like some of the old Monument of Misery T-shirts, and some of like a Disposal of the Week design, and we have a few other ones that are pretty sick that are in there, little gems.
Beautiful. So you're gonna have the full fucking line.
Yeah, we're just bringing everything we got.
Everything.
Whatever we sell, awesome.
Beautiful.
Whatever we don't, we'll be in the online store. I
guarantee you'll sell a lot, and I know this Detroit show the Michigan show is gonna be fucking madness, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's killer to have been able to get Battlecross to do this with us. Known those guys for a really long time and wanted to set something up that was really special for Halloween, and they hadn't played a show since we played with them at Diesel last time. So
and you know, like, to me personally, as just a fan of both you guys, but like Battlecross was that band for me coming up in the early years when I was going to shows. They just, every single fucking show I went to, it was either them or Dahlia opening.
Oh yeah, same.
Always. So for you to have, gotten them back to do this, like as a fan, genuinely, it just really means a lot to me. I haven't seen them in so long, and it really means a lot to me that you brought them back, and I get to see you guys and them in the same night with everybody else.
Right.
Like,
And then the Breathing Process just put out a phenomenal new album.
The Labyrinth.
Yeah, insane.
So good, dude.
And I think they're going to be playing that on these shows.
The whole thing?
No, they don't have a set that long.
Okay.
But no, I believe they're playing a lot of new stuff.
It gotta be, of course, yeah.
And then it'll be the first time in any of these markets for War.
Yep.
They've not been up here yet, coming from North Carolina. Really stoked to have them do these dates, and then they're heading out on that Silent on 5th Street tour.
Yep.
And then Reflection of Flesh is doing the Toledo and Chesterfield dates, and Filth Spewer is doing Indiana. And then we've got some killer local support on all 3 shows. Indiana's got Salem's Child, A Burden to Bear, and Voice of Silas.
Nice.
And then Toledo's got Broodmonger, Cerebral Cortex, and the final performance of Mujaw Creek.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then Michigan is obviously Pestilent Age, Hate Unbound, and Recorruptor. And we've been trying to get Recorruptor to play with us for a long time. We finally took a show.
You technically have played together at the Michigan Metal Fest.
Yeah, that's before I really knew about them though.
Fair enough.
I didn't know, I had heard the name Recorruptor, but I think they were still relatively new.
Relatively, sure.
As far as at least playing the bigger shows. And that was my first time hearing of them, but by the time I heard of them and was like, man, I want to see them, they had already played. And
so
I didn't get to see them.
So have you ever seen them?
I have seen them.
Okay. I was gonna say
you're gone to other shows and watched them.
Yeah.
But we have not shared the stage since I've been a fan of Recorruptor.
I think that you two, Recorruptor and Convalescence, match. It's like a perfect pairing. I think you guys match so well, in terms of a live show and with your energy and everything. I'm so fucking excited.
And I mean, dude, straight up, man, we've hit them up so many times. Hey, you want to play this show with us? And I was like, okay. You want to play this show with us? No, we're gonna pass on this one.
Jesus, come on, guys!
It's been going on for years.
But thank God that you.
And then finally, I was like, Battlecross on Halloween, and they were like,
"You have to come." Yeah.
You have to come play this.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we finally got them to do this. I'm looking forward to going back to Europe in February.
Oh man,
on that fucking monster tour. And we are booking a lot of stuff for 2022.
Well,
we're going to be on the road most of the year.
I was going to say, I would imagine with a new album potentially at least coming out sometime early-ish next year, if that thing ends up dropping in January or February when you guys aren't even in the United States, I imagine you tour the fuck out of the United States once you come back with that.
I mean, we haven't been able to hit the West Coast or some of our markets we haven't been able to hit since 2019 or some of them 2017 or 2018.
Yeah.
So it's been a while since we've been to some of these places, and we did the 10-year anniversary tour. But the reason we didn't go out west on the tour was because when we were booking it, there was still a lot stricter restrictions out there.
Yes.
And we want to do a metal show like a metal show.
Yes.
We want people to be safe, but we don't want everybody sitting down at 25% capacity or something.
Absolutely. No.
I'd rather not play there.
And your fans don't want to see you that way either.
Right.
Nobody goes to a Convalescence show and wants to sit down. It doesn't happen.
And we figured, we'll do our Midwest, our East Coast, our Texas, that kind of stuff. And we did what we could, and we basically used it to link together a bunch of festivals. Because just this short time period this year, we did Slam Dakota with Putrid Pile. We did the 3-day run, including Toledo Death Fest with Jungle Rot. We did Central Florida Metal Fest with Filth.
Yep.
We were supposed to play Rocklahoma with Slipknot.
Yep.
We were supposed to do Riot at the Racetrack. We did Orlando with Judas
Which for the record, you were there.
We were there.
I hung out with Ron and a few other people at the merch booth later in the night. So you guys were there.
We were there. We were supposed to do Rebel Rock. We did Orlando with Judas Priest. We did Incarceration with Rob Zombie. Now we got these Battlecross dates. So we really used the headline dates to link together all of that.
Yeah, brilliant.
And we would have liked to hit our markets out west, and we would have loved to go to Canada. We would have loved to return to Europe this year and stuff like that. But
of course.
It just we're doing what we can with the COVID thing, and the restrictions being what they were out west still, mixed with there was the flooding out there.
Yeah.
And there was all the forest fires out there.
Yep.
And it seemed like a lot
going on. Yeah.
There was a lot of bad going on out there, and it seemed like a lot of risk to book a tour out there at that point in time.
Yeah.
Because it's really like a fragile situation when you haven't made any touring revenue in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Coming off of losing a bunch because we had to cancel
so much. You can't risk it at that point.
And it's like, if we drive all the way out to California and the bus breaks down, or we drive out there and we get stuck because there's fires, or we get stuck because there's a landslide,
or all of a sudden there's a new mandate and only 10% of the people can come in.
Right,
you can't even sell tickets.
We were just we didn't want to risk it because if something like that happened, it could put us in a really, really bad spot.
Yeah.
Quickly. And that's why our 10-year anniversary tour was only half the country.
But 2022 is the year to make up for it.
2022, we have every intention of going back out west.
Yes.
We have every intention of doing Toledo Death Fest again, as we do every year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try to get on every festival that'll have us. As usual.
Europe, you're already going to be in Europe?
We're going to Europe. If Canada's open, I would like to return to Canada.
Yep.
They
love their metal.
Yeah, and there's some other countries that we've gotten recent offers for that we have not been to that I would like to go to. It just comes down to what we can do financially and what can make sense and what restrictions are and what our visas allow us to do. And that kind of stuff. So we're definitely looking into some things that we have not done before, as well as returning to a lot of the places that we have been.
Cool.
And hopefully everything's a lot more normal next year.
Yeah.
I can say that the August tour that we did was very much like just a normal tour. Everybody's a little on edge. It is scary. It is because it's not like when you're in danger, because it's like, it's all these homies we haven't seen in 2 years. Everybody's cool. Everybody's in a great mood. And then 4 days later, somebody's sick as fuck and in the hospital.
Right.
And you're just like, what happened?
Yeah, no, at that first one, I've seen you guys every Michigan date. I'll never miss Convalescence Michigan date again, but I've seen you guys every time you've been here this year. At that first one at the Music Factory, I can't lie. I was like what?
Yeah.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this? But after
is it real?
Is it real? Yeah. Is it real? And then after, and I was vaccinated. I followed suit with all the bands that I talked to. I'm like, all these guys are like, I need to get vaccinated to play again. I'm like, then I'm going to get vaccinated to go to the show again. And I I've been to a lot of shows now. I've been in mosh pits. We were together at Slipknot and Dahlia. You saw how that shit was, and I mean, I've been vaccinated and I've been great. I've been great. So like it kind of, I'm at the point now where I'm just like, all right, let's fucking do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right. Let's go have fun. Let's go play.
Yeah. Like,
and,
that was the deal.
we're kind of in the same boat. I mean, obviously all the stuff that went down in September and stuff was serious and it was scary for us.
Yes.
We had 2 members that were vaccinated end up with COVID
and still actually got symptoms. That's a big deal.
And in addition to that, the whole, the scary stuff with me having to go to the hospital.
Oh my God. Of course.
It's like, okay, mate, this health thing's real. And, it's,
oh yeah,
it is what it is. But I mean, and don't get me wrong, it was a huge setback. And,
I mean, on the one hand, metalheads like us as you, even as a fan, we love it when even if the singer isn't performing at full capacity, but he goes, I broke my fucking ankle tonight and I'm still playing, or Alexi Leho, I broke my fucking shoulder tonight and I'm still flipping the guitar on my fucking body. But if it crosses that line of I could have died and never played again, that's where that line crosses. So
that's when you gotta just kind of deal with it that time around. And
a broken bone is one thing. Other things like what you were dealing with is something else. So
and it's just it is what it is, and now it's just going to be a story.
Great story.
And
great story.
And from here on out, I'm ready to I feel like I'm 100% again.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm ready to go back out and put on our show 100%. So
fucking wait to see Halloween.
We have a very cool set list put together for the Halloween shows. And we know that these are our last 3 shows together until February.
Until you go to Europe.
Our next show after Diesel will be in Germany.
Son of a bitch, that's crazy.
We're gonna make these last 3 count this year.
Yeah.
And we're stoked to see everybody, and stoked to see Battlecross back out there killing it. Yeah. And very excited for the other bands that are playing. But yeah, we're just spending that off time between tours. There's a lot of preparation for Europe, especially post-pandemic going to Europe. Not even post-pandemic, like during pandemic going to Europe.
Yep.
There's a lot involved. So we're just going to make sure that everything is the way it needs to be. Because the last thing you want to do is like
be unprepared.
Get to the other side of the world and have something not be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you don't want to deal with that, especially not on a tour that size. Nope. So we want everything to go off perfect and as well as it can, at least. So we're going to be very focused after Battlecross on that tour. We are going to be putting the finishing touches and editing together the documentary portion of the 10-year anniversary DVD, and getting the new album mixed and mastered and ready to go as well. And just a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's tedious and takes a lot of time and
absolutely. I mean,
whatever. And
yeah, you're doing all the ground level work. You're doing all like you said, the behind the scenes stuff that needs to be done.
And I'm not saying we won't release any content.
Of course,
you know what I mean.
I was literally just gonna say, if at any point during that time any of you want to come on the cast and just shoot some shit, of course you're always welcome, always. So,
oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, if we have more updates and more news on stuff, I'll absolutely hit you up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of okay, let's take this out, let's put this in,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff for
It's
that. And
kind of
with the
fun.
new album, like I said, we're gonna sit on it until we have what we feel is the proper materials and the proper budget and the proper everything to put this out.
Yes.
And put it out like what it deserves. Because I mean,
yes,
we got some killer guest spots on vocals that I'm very excited about. We got to work with one of the best producers, in my opinion, in metal history.
yes.
We have one of my favorite artists doing the 4th album artwork he's done for us.
Kaki, yeah.
He did This Is Hell, Monument of Misery, The
So
Human
good.
Disease 2.0,
So good.
and now he did this one as well. I think this is our best performance in the studio from every member.
And this is also the first time you had all of the same members from multiple albums.
Yes. It was all the same members have been on Coming Undone, Monument of Misery, and The Human Disease 2.0.
Yeah.
But this is our first time with consecutive albums with every
Yeah.
single member the same.
Yep.
Everybody was the same except for Toby on This Is Hell, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So,
yeah.
This Is Hell and on. Toby replaced Brandon, but
Right.
that was the only change we've made since we started recording that album at the end of 2017.
Yeah.
So it's been pretty stable,
Which is beautiful. That's what you want.
pretty solid for the past, well, I guess almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
So we've had good luck recently.
Yeah. You have some great fucking people in there.
Yeah, very. I couldn't ask for better musicians in the band. Everybody's
so good,
extremely talented. Katie really stepped it up on some of the key parts that she worked on this record.
Oh, awesome.
The guitar parts are, great. As every time those guys write something, I'm usually stoked on it.
Fantastic.
There's some really cool bass stuff that shows off the bass a little bit more on this record.
Oh, nice.
And, we did live drums again.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And
I love that.
The drum tracks are fucking nuts. So, and I will say this was the most intense vocal sessions that I've ever done. As far as like some of the ideas that Jason had, most of the time I go in and it's like, here's my vocals, and the music has already used up a lot of the studio time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually like, well, shit, we got 3 days to do all the vocals.
Oh my God.
So it's not a lot of time to like produce the vocals.
Figure it out. Yeah.
To really mess with different ideas and stuff like that. And kind of whatever we wrote in pre-production, it'll get tweaked a little bit by like me.
Right.
And then that's what goes on the record.
Right. Okay.
But like this time I spent, I think 5 days of actual tracking with Jason, and we did 2 songs a day. And the last record I did 10 songs in 2 days.
I was gonna say, you got to spend 5 days on vocals alone when I feel like you guys pretty much
technically 5.5. I did a track the day that I flew in. And then I did 5 songs or 5 days of tracking after that.
In the previous album, you guys all basically recorded the whole fucking thing in 5 days. Like pretty much like like a week. It was like a week or something.
Well, it was
or 10 days.
Of Misery, we recorded everything, including live drums, vocals, everything in 13 days.
There we go. And you got to spend this time. You got to spend 5 fucking days on vocals.
This record, we spent 13 days on drums.
Like with considering what you did on Monument of Misery, that makes me exponentially excited to see what you guys can do with more time. Oh my God.
It's been an experience to record with Jason, because the dude just hears stuff that like I would have never thought of, but he's always right.
That's awesome, man.
He always knows.
That's a fucking great producer. That's awesome.
So it's you know, just some of the stuff, you know, we really pushed it, and some of the stuff, you know, we had a totally different idea going in than what is the track now.
See,
So,
but as long
when we got down there, normally we do pre-production on our own.
Yeah.
And we kind of come in with.
You come in ready.
Yeah, we come in.
You come in
first,
ready.
We come in ready. We're like, here's our record.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to record, and we'll tweak little things as we're recording. This was like, okay, here's our record, and he's like, no, it's not. And it, you know, there was a good deal of songs that are relatively the same as they were, in the sense that everything goes in the same relative order, and the structure of it is relatively the same. Okay. And a lot of the riffs are similar. Every single song, though, was gone over on every instrument with, you know, the finest tooth comb, and everything was questioned, everything was messed with, and it was really cool to work with somebody that gives that much of a shit. Like, somebody that's like, that's cool, but this could be cooler.
Not only that gives a shit, but is a fan of this style of music and understands it in a way to where he comes in and he's like, no, that's really good, but what if we did this? That might make it sound a little cooler, you know, kind of. Yeah.
And he's an absolute shredder guitar player.
Fantastic.
So
he understands that. Yeah.
Yeah, he shreds on guitar for sure, but he just has so many ideas with stuff. I mean, like I said, man, he's worked with Deicide, Job for a Cowboy, Whitechapel, Dahlia, Trivium, Chimera, Battlecross, All That Remains. You know, all of them.
And the Convalescence, the best of the best. Like,
yeah, okay. So
I'm saying for all, I'm saying for everybody, like the whole lineup.
We were stoked to be there. And just some of his ideas, I mean, really were game changers. And I give that dude all the credit in the world working on this record with us. And I cannot wait to hear it mixed. I cannot wait to hear it mastered. And I cannot wait to start dropping songs for everybody.
Oh, I can't wait.
But like I said, we went all out on making this record to an insane level, and we went all out on the artwork and the photos and the ideas that we had for songs and the ideas that we have for videos. We're not going to cut corners on. So if that means it doesn't come out until late next year, fine. The idea, I would love to have it out by like summer.
Sure.
But realistically, we'll have probably the final of the record back in our hands for the first time by the end of the year.
Okay.
So once you get through that, then we have to make the videos. We also have the Europe tour right after that. We have the holidays. There's a lot to go into it post getting the record in our hands.
Yep.
So, you know, and then we're going to have to design all new merch and all new stage setup and the whole thing. So it's a lot to go into it. So I think we're still several months off from it actually being ready to go.
And I think that does nothing but work in your favor. I think the more time you spend on it, like this is the most time you've ever spent recording an album. So like the more time you spend on it. We've
spent more time recording this album than all of our other albums
combined.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Exactly. Like that's so the more time you spend on the release, the more time you spend on the new merch, the stage setup, all these things is going to be is nothing but to your benefit. To come out with something like brand new and like this is us now. Like that's gonna be nothing but fucking amazing, dude.
It's gonna be great. I'm really excited about it. I'm really happy with what we have in the works right now. So I mean that's all I can really say for now. It's just kind of it's a work in progress still, and we want to make sure that when this new album drops that it just blows away Monument. That's our goal.
And as a big of a fan of Monument as I am, I'm gonna say that's a pretty high fucking bar because I love that album so much, like top to bottom. It's one of the albums where when I put on the first song, there's no songs on there that I can skip, and I have to listen to it top to bottom once I put on the first song. It's just not, I have to. Like, it's just, that's the only way to listen to it, to me. Like
it is another full length. It is not an EP.
Yes.
It's
yes.
This one's 11 songs.
Yes.
So it's another full album.
All right, because we talked about it before. I was like, I'm going to keep you for a tight hour. We've blown that out of the water.
Yeah.
But it's what we do whenever we get on together. But the one last question I'm going to ask you is, are we going to hear any new tracks on Halloween night?
No.
Fair enough.
Nope.
Save that shit, bro. Save that shit.
We have we've always had kind of a rule that until a single actually comes out, we won't play it live.
I like that.
Because we want, the way I look at it is we work really hard on like the videos that we do, and we work really hard, and the artists work really hard on like the lyric videos or the stream videos or whatever. And I feel like if it pops up us playing it on a cell phone video prior, that
exactly.
It kind of blows it.
Exactly. It's like exactly.
It's like they heard an version of it.
Yeah.
Prior to hearing it, and already had an opinion on if they liked it or not before they even actually heard the song.
Right. And
we don't want that. So
no.
we usually don't even really hype up a song before we release it.
Yeah.
It usually just kind of drops.
Beautiful.
So
I like that.
I don't know. We have a lot of interesting ideas. We'll see what shakes out, and actually is able to be put together. It's really budget dependent. It's really stuff like that. But I mean, we're not going to stop any short of, we want to have a better and bigger stage show than we've ever had when we come back.
And you guys already have a really big, great one. Like already. Yeah. So for you to get bigger.
It's been a work in progress over the years. But we have some cool ideas.
I'm excited.
And the scrims are due for a changing. The backdrop's due for a changing.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, I was looking at our backdrop at Incarceration. We hung it up, and there's just blood stains all over the white stuff, and it looks so nasty. And we were like talking about it, like, oh yeah, we should really have this like cleaned, and it's like, yeah, but it's like 25 foot by like 40 foot backdrop. Like, where are we even going to take this thing?
Right.
So yeah, we time is coming for the switching of scrims and the rebuilding of some of the props and some modifications we've been wanting to do. Like this year, we, instead of having the two stomp boxes split and just having them be risers, we put the two boxes together. I drilled holes in the tops of both of them so we could have both staffs sticking out of them on stage.
Fuck!
And
okay.
It just kind of gave it a new like front piece kind of thing.
Right.
The big spiky things we had at the front of the stage, we attached like spines from different animals to driftwood when Houston was getting hit with all those huge storms from the hurricane.
Yeah.
Huge, mangled, nasty-looking chunks of driftwood were flying up all over Houston. And Ron collected a couple of them.
You guys happen to be there at the time?
Well, Ron lives in Houston.
Oh, right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
he got those, and he brought them up, and we painted them black and attached spines to them, and we painted all these symbols and stuff all over them with glow-in-the-dark paint, and put skulls on those. And then we had used rib cages and spines and skulls to make the mic stands for Toby and Ron. And we updated Katie's, like, the front of her keyboard stand, and made it so her kick drum lights up, and
shit always looks sick. Her
all that kind of stuff. So we did a lot of stuff, but we still have some lighting that we haven't quite put to good use yet, that we had bought during the pandemic that we used for the Land of the Dead video, and then that was about it. We also had bought some geysers and stuff for the One of the Dead video. And the main problem we had is we haven't been together as a band long enough to really program any of that stuff.
Fair enough.
And we don't have crew to the point where we have our own lighting technician. Right. So it's been tough to use that kind of stuff on a tour, setting it up and running it by ourselves while we're playing, kind of thing. So
right.
There's some stuff that was not quite there yet.
But you're working on it.
We're working on it for sure.
And you're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. And, you know, I really want to do some shows with some pyrotechnics and some fireworks and stuff next year. We were so close this year. But if we get a good outdoor show next year.
For the record, don't feel bad, because for the record, this tour, the metal tour of the year, that Lamb of God is on with Megadeth, is the first time ever that Lamb of God has used pyrotechnics. So
nice.
Don't feel bad that you guys have.
No. I just you know, and really it's not within our budget. It's gonna be like a one show or maybe a 2-show thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right now, at least, it's not going to be something we can tour with. And we're not playing venues the size to accommodate that most of the time anyway.
Right. Neither did they, I would argue.
But if we get, you know, the right deal with the right company, and we get
the right spot, the right
spot, and it all comes together.
Yep.
I'm definitely pulling the trigger on that.
Fuck yeah.
Because how could I not want to blow stuff up?
No, absolutely.
You know, as far as like, I always thought that would be so sick to have just like fireballs shooting into the air while we're playing Death.
It would have worked so fucking like, you guys are,
It's not impossible.
No, of course not.
And it's just expensive.
Fair enough.
So we just have to, and it's time consuming and takes a lot of planning.
Yes.
And so I don't have a problem doing any of that.
No.
Just a matter of the logistics of making it work.
We got to figure it out.
At a certain place on a certain date, you know, and the weather's got to be right.
Yep.
And
the
whole deal. So it's got to be kind of the perfect storm of things for us to pull it off at our level. But we fully intend to as soon as we get the chance.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
We want to bring the biggest show we can, the best show that we can to everybody when we come back in 2022. We're planning a lot of big stuff, and we're hopefully going to be taking this to a bigger level with this new record.
You absolutely will. There's not a second of doubt in my mind of that. I keep promoting the Halloween show as a once-in-a-lifetime show that will never happen again, for all the best reasons. And what I mean by that is because by this time next year, this show will be able to happen again. All you guys are going to be way too big to play at a show like this. So like that's what I mean by that. And I genuinely, absolutely fucking believe that in every way for every single fucking band that's on that bill, because everyone is just so. It's an entire, dude, you put together an entire bill of headliners These are all, every single one of these bands I've seen do their own headline tour. And like, even if it's just a mini tour, be 2 or 3 dates or whatever, fine, whatever. But I've seen all of these bands headline. You put together a lineup of headliners on Halloween night, it's just going to be chaos, dude. It's going to be fucking amazing. And there's no question in my mind that your next album is going to put you guys on a level. It's going to put you on a level where you're too big to be on this podcast anymore. Like, that's for sure. So, man, like, I cannot thank you enough for, like, you've given us updates on, you told us about Penhurst. You've given us updates on the new album and some amazing tour stories. I cannot thank you. Got to wrap this up. I've kept you for way too long. Too long. So
yeah, man, it's always good being here. Always good talking metal with you.
Man,
I'll probably see you at Guar. I know I'll see you on Halloween.
100%.
And if you can make it to the movie shoot, do it.
Literally the only way I'm not gonna make me, Preston, and Aaron are planning on doing that. The only way it doesn't happen is if one of the bands hits me up to do a podcast that night. That's the only, but as of right now, no one has. Yeah, so as of right now,
tell them no way.
Okay, all right.
No
then
way.
We'll be there.
Not the 27th. Come be in the movie.
Okay, done. Then, brother, done. We'll be there for that. We'll be there in Monroe. We'll be there on Halloween, and I
I'll
cannot.
see you at Guar.
100%.
So yeah, man, we'll see each other soon.
I'm so happy. Like, that it means the world to me, and I cannot thank you enough for giving me all this time tonight. You were fucking. This is one of the best episodes ever. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I love being on the show.
I cannot thank you enough. So I will hit the stop recording, and then we'll hop off in a second. But thank you everyone for listening. Everyone, this was Keith from the Convalescence, and one of the best episodes ever. So thank you all. Good night.
What did I tell you? Fucking killer. Keith and I, you put us in a room and we just go off, and it's always fucking magnificent. I love it so much. I love this guy. Like, he's just really one of the best people I've met from doing this podcast, and hands down the probably best. And yeah, any chance, any opportunity, anytime I get to see him at a show or anything, it's just an absolute joy to get to talk to him. So, the Convalescence, I've met many members of the band, and they're all just a fucking riot. I love these guys so much. I just wanted to jump in here real quick for an outro one more time to remind everybody that coming up on Halloween night at the Diesel Concert Lounge in New Baltimore, Michigan, we got Hate Unbound, Pestilent Age, Recorruptor, Reflection of Flesh, War, The Breathing Process, the motherfucking Convalescence, and Michigan's own Battlecross. Come the fuck on. It's going to be one of the greatest Halloween nights I've ever had in my entire life. Hands fucking down. I am fucking shaking in anticipation waiting for this show. So everybody that can be there, be sure to be there. And that's going to do it for this episode of Lost in the Dark podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. Raise your fucking horns! Be at that show on Halloween if you can, and blast all things Convalescence. We love you all to death. Good night!